There we go.
And there it
Make
is.
sure I'm muted on YouTube here. Okay, here. Okay.
It's been way too long.
Oh yeah, we're rolling. Hit it! So fucking typical, I don't know what to do. I'm on the Scottish, I'm feeling kind of woo. Think you're scary, but I don't know what to do. Gotta boo, coo coo choo. Hey! So fucking typical, I don't know what to do. I'm on the Scottish, I'm feeling kind of woo. Think you're scary, but I don't know what to do.
Oh, Jesus. Welcome back to the lot.
Way
In
too long.
typical Wook fashion, we fucked the link up again.
I'm not even sure we're live right now.
Way too
I'm
long.
pretty sure
I'm
we're
checking.
live, but
So
I
it
think
says live. You have
there's
to
like
believe
20
it.
people watching or waiting for us on the other link.
Okay.
Reminiscent of the Wookiee
I
Awards
see us.
going
We're
live.
good. We're good. I see us.
Thanks, Chad.
So do we
Yeah.
need to retweet that shit?
Yeah, I got it, dude. Come
Alright,
on,
good.
guys. Just lock it up. Pretend like we know what we're doing.
Nice
We
shirt,
do.
Chad. Nice shirt, Chad.
Thank you. I got this from comedian Matt Knutson. He was giving T-shirts away because he can't tour anymore, and he was giving T-shirts away for donations to the LA Food Bank. So I made a donation, and you don't have to give a donation to the LA Food Bank, but your local food bank, if you want to donate, look for local charities in your community. And he sent me this as a thank you for doing that. So thanks,
Nice.
buddy.
It's hot.
It's really sweet.
Very
Yeah.
public image limited.
So we got a big show tonight. We just, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, we did the Wookiee Awards last Friday. It's up on our YouTube channel, this channel that you're watching. And we have some of the winners coming on tonight. We have Scott Marks, the winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award, will be stopping in. Then we have Oteil and Mike Fenoya from Comes a Time, and a few other things they might have done along the way. Winner of Exceptional Podcast, and then our Wook of the Year, Mr. Skoy, I think will be joining us later at the end of the night, so it should be pretty good.
Yeah, we also managed to wrangle up Sturgill Simpson's bass player Chuck Bartels, who's a guy I used to play in a band with, and he's actually the guy that turned me on to Oteil like way back in the days of Aquarium Rescue Unit. And I reached out to him because I know he's a big Oteil fan, and I know they've met before. So I was like, well, that'd be kind of cool to have a couple like world-class bass players on, because Chuck's really good. If you guys know Sturgill Simpson at all. And
Which I personally don't, but when you brought it up, I did my research, and Chuck is badass at bass.
Oh yeah, you saw that you posted that video of him jamming with Humphreys, right?
Yeah, and he was badass.
Yeah, he's badass, man. Like I still to this day can't believe I got to play in a band with him for years. Like he put all of us to shame, and I have some stories when he comes on if we have time that maybe we could share a little bit, but I'll save it for now.
All right. Yeah, actually, I didn't even realize, but with how tight the show is, I have some housekeeping business to take care of. There was an award that the Wook Academy get handed out that because of timing and traveling and everything, we weren't able to get in the actual award ceremony. But it's a very important award, and we followed up with him, and he sent us an acceptance speech. The award is Leadership in the Community. It's a very important award, and we gave it to Malcolm Howard. So here I will share his acceptance speech.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to express my gratitude for receiving this award. It's an extreme honor. More importantly, I think that the work that our community does in a variety of different areas is very important, and we should be proud of what our community does. In the future, what I'd love to see is more people stepping up to get involved in their own communities, our community, and the jam band community at large to make the world a better place. I'd also like to give a shout out to our friends at Fans for Racial Equity, especially our communications subcommittee, for all the great work they do, both social media and just advancing the causes of social justice. I'd also like to thank our friends at The Lot, because you guys not only crack me up, but have humbled me with your thirst for knowledge and your incredible work that you're doing in our community, bringing to light different things that help everybody, as well as keeping the music going. So with that, again, thank you and enjoy the show tonight.
I love Malcolm. So Malcolm's a chairman for Fans for Racial Equity. It's wild, by the way, hearing him like thank us or say about what we're doing for somebody who's so actively helping the community and doing so much. But no, he's been on The Lot, I think 2 times so far, and we're big fans of his, and he's been doing a lot of work with Fans for Racial Equity. So well-deserved award winner there. I'm going to go right into it. Or Chad, you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, for Fans for Racial Equity, I know that we're not going to shows, this year anytime soon, except for the couple drive-in shows. But if we, let's not lose track of this when we start going back to shows. That's a very important thing, to make sure everybody feels included throughout all, whatever your belief system is, or your race or whatever. Just keep including everybody in this wonderful scene. And also, happy birthday, Trey.
Happy birthday, Trey. Yeah, I think we had some really poignant episodes and a lot of good conversation, and as things go forward and other things come up, I think that conversation dies down naturally, and every minute of every day doesn't need to be serious. But I agree. I think that's the type of conversations, the conversation, I'm speaking specifically the conversations we had with Malcolm when he was on The Lot. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. But I agree. We should keep those types of conversations and everything going as we
and always remember, it's okay to have that conversation with someone. If you feel like that was the beautiful,
why we're here, man. We're gonna.
But that was a beautiful thing about when Malcolm came on. It was sort of like, hey, let's just talk. Like let's get this all out and let's figure it out. And it was a wonderful conversation with him, and I really do adore him.
It's so hard finding your way through this still, with everything that goes on in the world coming correct, as the millennials will laugh at me for saying, is
that a typo, Kev?
Yeah, and trying to frame it correctly, because when I was growing up, my grandmother was lock the doors if she saw black people in the corner. What does that teach an 8-year-old, kind of thing that you have to work through for the rest of your fucking life,
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna keep moving. Sorry, there is no proper transition there, so I'm just.
There never is.
Like a Band-Aid.
It would be better if it wasn't 5 pasty white guys talking about this right now, but
Well, here's something that'll make everybody happy, because it made us happy last time. We gave the award for best appearance on The Lot, and they wanted the opportunity to give a proper acceptance speech. Unfortunately, I did not give them the opportunity the first time. They reached out to me, and here we go.
Hey guys, we're gonna make this video for Wook Plus. Let's all go outside and put our game faces on. Gordon, you just won a Wookiee award. What do you have to? Hi, bro. I just want to record this little thing. Susie, where do you draw your inspiration from? Katie, I just need you to wear the Chewbacca mask for like 5 minutes tops. You just won Best Lawn Appearance. What do you have to say? Favorite jam, go. Piper, you just won a Wookiee. Do you have anything to say?
Their acceptance speech this year might be a candidate for best appearance on The Lot next year.
Is there any way you'll say just a few words, Addy?
Definitely best acceptance speech.
Less is more sometimes.
Diego, do you get pre-show nerves?
Is it crazy that
All right, fine.
votes are better behaved than our president?
Katie, you want to Wookiee? What do you really have to aspire to after this?
I wonder if they know to go to their own cabinet, their own little
I don't
thing.
know.
House.
Or they
Probably.
introduced, hey, when you're born, you get stuck in one, and you're like, yeah, this is my crib. It smells like me.
I think they prefer sitting on top of it too, as opposed to actually in it most of the time.
Is
Makes
that just
sense.
Hold on, Travis. Is that just anecdotal, or do you actually know this?
Well, as Kevin was saying that on the YouTube part, it actually was showing them on the top. So I was like, oh, they probably just sit on top of it. And usually, they like to climb on shit. So I'm assuming, but I'm sure they cuddle up in it too.
So we actually have our first guest, and it's perfect timing because it's gonna keep this whole acceptance speech. Tom Marshall did this beautiful job introducing Scott, and the timing of it. The way I asked Scott for the acceptance speech, he didn't realize how we were setting it up. So on the awards, it's this really long introduction, and then Scott's like, "Thank you for this award," and gets out. So I talked to Scott, and I felt bad, so I figured, hey, let's bring him on and have a proper conversation. And here he comes. We didn't make intros this time because we spent all of our production budget on the Wookiee Awards.
We were going to
Don't
do
worry,
a
next month we're gonna restart with our budget.
We're in the
Well,
negative now.
I can play.
I have a quick update from the chat while we're waiting.
Oh yeah, hit us.
Yeah, June 14, 1995 is the release Friday.
Oh, you found out.
That's from Makita in the chat.
Scott, welcome,
Scott.
Welcome back.
Achievement Award.
So this is like the pity Zoom, right?
This is where a good episode to come on, though. We have a lot of fun guests this week or
This
month
is where
now.
I have to make up for my 6-second acceptance speech.
I feel bad about that. You were one of the first people I reached out to for a speech, and I didn't enlighten you as to what we had planned with Tom. So then when the finished product came together, it was like
Tom gave you this beautiful, like, gracious introduction, and it was like, thanks, guys.
What I should have done was the Hightower thank you from Police Academy.
that would have been perfect.
Well, you can do it right now if you want.
Well, it's already been recorded, so it's too late. I got to win a different award next year.
All right.
Well, next
But
year.
thank you very much. It's an honor, it's very cool being a part of that.
Well, it's a pretty esteemed group or club right now. It's you and Tom Marshall. So, and we've established this tradition now since Tom was gracious enough to participate. Now you have to introduce and hand out the award next year.
We already
So
penciled
Wook
you in.
Academy
I'll do like a
chooses.
6-second introduction for next year to keep my
There you go.
Just say the
True,
winner's
Scott.
name. That's it. Just say who it is. Thank
Very
you.
nice.
It's been a joy and pleasure.
It seems like you get us there, Scott.
Yeah, we'll have
should-
to,
I
we'll have to
gotta
figure
make
out
up
who that
for it.
is.
Hey, I have a question. Should the previous year's winner, should we set a new precedent that they get to pick or have a say in the next year's winner? Like, should he, Scott have a
Should
say?
he get an honorary vote?
Yeah, we could bring him into the Wook Academy for that category.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to be a part of that.
Or maybe
There are a lot
nominate.
of,
You can make the
great-
nominations and then we vote.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of great people that are deserving of the award, for sure.
Including you.
Including you. Very well
And if you
deserved.
keep going from landscape to portrait, that'd be great because it looks really good on the Zoom. Like every time you flip your phone, like that looks sweet.
My
So a
vote,
little diagonal there.
Oh,
There you go. That's good. A little off center.
my vote is for Amy Skelton next year.
Sure.
Let's not show our cards yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's the I'm coming out on record
Wow.
early.
Wow.
She deserves it. She might not like me because she took
Well,
my
we
shirt,
only have
but
12 months to figure it out. So
Do you guys have any David Steinberg questions for me tonight?
I do. No, 6 of them actually.
we
Yeah,
should have
that-
done
that-
Stump the Boomer.
Yeah, we
With
should have
Scott.
done Stump the Boomer. Because I always lose. You would have won this. Trust me.
I
All
didn't.
right,
really-
I think do it. Stump the boomer.
Who's
Go.
got a question?
Come on, let's go. What was the temperature outside on 10/31/95?
5 degrees.
68.
Pretty much. It was close. It was really fucking cold.
Yeah, Chicago. I should be thinking Chicago.
Oh,
in October.
I got a basic question. I was at the show that they're playing tonight. Were you there, Scott?
I was not.
No.
What
No?
show are they playing tonight?
Columbus 99.
7/23/99. I did Virginia Beach through Toronto and jumped off, and then I flew out for the 2 Deer Creek shows. But I missed Polaris and Alpine.
Oh, I did Deer Creek and Polaris that year. I missed Alpine, but yeah.
Virginia Beach. Every time.
I'm kind of curious to see if they have Trey cracking up during Birds of a Feather, where Paige keeps doing that. Yeah, whatever noise that was. I failed that.
You're a keyboard player, Chad. What noise was that?
It was exactly how Scott described it. It was.
That sounds better already.
There's a setting on the keyboard that just says.
How do you spell that?
With a ZZYZX. That's how you spell
I was gonna say you sound like Kevin trying to
You
introduce
nailed
David.
it. You nailed it. All right. Well, 99 was so great. It was such a great year. And then sometimes I feel like Fishman after Cypress. It was like, what else do we have to do? So maybe that was the smart thing to stop playing in 2000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they would have ended up the way they are now if they didn't take their, their first hiatus and then break up. But
also, don't sleep on 2000, man.
I only
There's a lot of good stuff from 2000.
Deer Creek 2000 was like
brought out
my favorite. You were at Deer Creek 2000, Scott, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I only saw Hershey and Merriweather.
Okay.
I was way into this band called the Radiators.
Oh, God.
And I started going to see them all the time.
This is a noob opinion because I wasn't touring on those years, but I feel like
Why were you not
2000 is
touring?
overshadowed by 99, and I feel like 99 is always overshadowed by 98. So it's like even though 99 and 2000 were really good years, it's like going from 97, 98, and then into those 2 years, it's crazy to think of it now, but it was actually a step down or a slight decline, at least for me listening back to it. I wasn't touring at that point, but it seems to me.
Hey, Scott, I got a question for you. I saw a thread going through today of times people have met Trey. Have you ever met Trey?
Yeah, I met him in January at the Capitol Theater.
Oh, this year?
Yes.
Oh, your first time meeting him?
Yeah, before everything went to shit.
The Snowflakes in he did that song. Didn't he do some song about snowflakes or
Snowflakes in the Sand?
Yeah.
So I had it was one of my favorite songs from 1999, and it was done on his acoustic shows, and then he stopped playing it, and fast forward to it was fall of 2018. He's doing those shows out west, and the first show happened in Arizona, and I'm talking to a friend who knows Trey, and I'm like, I wouldn't request any songs shout, because you have people that shout out the songs at the shows, and I it's not for me. I don't do that. But I'm like, if I did, this is what I would request. And my friend had forgotten about the song and wasn't familiar with it at first, and then
fantastic song.
Passed it along to Trey, and he's like, if it happens, you'll know why. And I'm like, all right, fine. And so like the whole tour goes on. He's not playing it. And then the second to last night of the tour in Boulder, he opens with it. And I'm in Connecticut that morning or that night, that weekend. And so I obviously, was not in Boulder for it, but I was pretty excited that it happened. And then the next year he played at Newport Folk Fest. And so I reached out to my friend again. I'm like, if I could make a request, I'd like to hear this. And so I'm at Newport Folk Fest and Trey's playing, and he plays like the first 5 or 6 notes of the song, and then stops and plays something else. And like, damn it, that was my chance. And then like a couple of songs later, he actually played it. And so I was very excited for it, and that was that. And then
what song was that?
Snowflakes in the Sand.
I remember you tweeting about it. I was following you, and you were like, "Wow, they actually did it," and that's so cool.
So yeah, so then how does this lead up to you meeting him?
Patience, Grasshopper.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. Lifetime Achievement Award. You can take it. You can take the entire episode for all I get. You know what?
Well, split it with
Sorry,
Oteil.
Oteil. I'm taking this. Show. No, I'm kidding. I kid.
Drink that up.
So, it's late October, and my friend had reached out to me and had asked about, I guess Trey debuting the song there. If it, and I said yes or whatever, because I this stupid encyclopedia of knowledge, and it was a Friday night, and I had just gotten home from work a couple hours ago and was decompressing. And when the shows are on, I will, if there's an audio stream, I will put the setlist on .net while it's live. I'll listen to it. The joys of being single, I can do shit like that. And all of a sudden I hear my name, and I'm like, what? And that's, so you go from like a casual listener to, wait, what's going on here? And then I hear a second time, and he thanked me for bringing the song back. If it was partially because of me that it came back, and he loved the song, and I was just beside myself. And then he mentioned a quote unquote friend of the community 2 nights later in the Ryman. And so I decided, all right, I gotta try and strike while the iron's hot. And so when he played at the Capitol Theater, I knew when he was going to arrive, and I showed up by the side of the entrance and introduced myself, and the connection for Snowflakes in the Sand, and he thanked me. And meanwhile, Trey had chosen Mockingbird Foundation as the charity when he played at Folk Fest in 2019. And so I thanked him for that, and I got a picture with him, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to request a couple more songs, since you're talking to Trey Anastasio. Happy birthday, by the way.
Batting 1,000 at the time.
And, really, get the words into his ears. And so I had requested Acting the Devil, which is a cover song that Tab plays. And then for Fish, Shafty, which everyone requests, and Will It Go Around in Circles. And he had said regarding Acting the Devil, that wasn't on the set list for the night, and he'd forgotten about it. And I'm like, all right. And so, and then like a couple songs in, he played the song, and he hadn't played in like 3 years, and then played it frequently through the rest of the tour. So it was a really cool experience. He couldn't have been nicer. He knew who I was. So I wasn't just like a random person off the street either. He did ask if I had actually seen Fish at the Cap, which would have been 1991. So apparently I looked older than I really am. I just said no.
Were you there, bro? How old were you? Like 8?
I was 12, I think.
Okay.
I was 20.
I have a little gray hairs in the beard here, so I guess
baby,
I'm aging a little bit. But
So
yeah, it was a really great experience, and
isn't he the great? Everybody that commented on that thread today that has met him, and my experience too, was like, oh my god, what's the nicest guy in the world? Like, he cares about you. He's like, what are you about?
I love that Scott started the conversation with, "I'm not the kind of guy to request songs," and then by the end of the conversation, he requested like
4 or 5.
4 or 5 songs.
Here's
And
the
also, I
difference.
like
don't do it-
Shafty.
I don't do it live while the show's going on.
Oh
My
yeah.
mouth's shut in between the songs. If I have a chance to talk to him outside the show, all bets are off.
Right.
Well, when we
Go
have him on the lot, I'll make sure to collect some suggestions for him to play.
I can send you some recordings of me screaming at a band and them actually playing the song. One time, David Torkanowski said to me, "What are we, a fucking jukebox?" And then Johnny Vodakovich started playing the song, and he's like, "I guess we fucking are." And they played Foxy Roxy for me. Yeah.
I had a friend. It was the Wrigley Field shows that was staying in the same hotel and wound up like sitting downstairs with Trey and requested LaGrange. And Trey was like, "Yeah, I want to play LaGrange." He's like, "Oh, but I gotta ask Fishman." And like, so for some reason, Fishman does not want to play LaGrange. I'm just gonna.
He doesn't like songs about whorehouses. It's simple. He has a wife, you know. They were on TV. Did you see him on TV? They were on some show about bed and breakfast or something up in Maine.
That was like 6 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he obviously has a wife, and you don't want to talk about whorehouses if you're married.
I'm sure that's what it is. That must be it. Look, oh Jesus!
Now the band has to want to play it though. I caught it at SPAC in 2012, I think, which was the first time I played it since '99, and then it's been shelved ever since. So very rare song these days.
Vernon Downs was so fun when they did that.
Are you still chasing anything, Scott?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I guess Will It Go Round in Circles, which has been played twice in '99. That's it. I've caught everything I could really ask for in all my years of seeing the band.
Along those lines, Scott, I'm sorry, but along those lines, what I'm really curious about is like I have this thing where I keep going back and forth between the amount of hours I've spent on Couch Tour and shows I was actually at. And the older that we get, I forget. I was like, was I at that show? Do you have a weird memory? Because you're so detailed and involved. Like you've listened to every show ever archived, right? I'm assuming.
I have not. I listened to a lot. I have all my ticket stubs in a shoebox.
I wish I would have done that.
Yeah,
That's so hard to pull off though. And if you don't do it from the beginning, you're.
I have 80%.
Yeah, so it's just for Fish that I have all the stubs. So you can see right there.
God, you want to flex your number? Did we ask you for your number yet?
You didn't.
Flex it.
It's a lot.
Flex it.
333.
Damn!
That's a great number.
That's a winner. That's a new record.
You even beat Baker.
You beat Baker.
There you go.
It's been a good run for sure.
It took me 30 years.
So that box had 333 tickets in it? Well, no,
no,
I guess like with festivals and stuff, it's yeah.
It took me 30 years to see 100 shows.
I still haven't seen 100, and I've been going since '95. I still haven't gotten 100 yet.
But I went into way other tangents. I did a whole New Orleans thing where I spent.
Who did you see in New Orleans?
The Radiators.
Yeah,
and the Meters. Yes. Yatta Hey. Yeah, lots. I mean, it's fantastic. Kermit Ruffins, anything you can think of, you get in New Orleans. Even if you want to find hardcore punk, you can find it, you know?
I mean, that's true about anything in New Orleans. Like, if you want it, it's there. Like, and not just music, I'm talking, like anything.
Exactly.
I'm going to bring in Mike Fenoya. Oteil's not here yet, but figure we bring Mike in.
Ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, we'll do a proper intro. Ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. He dropped out of the waiting room as soon as I said that.
I'm
talking
out
about
of
the
here.
Radiators. He was like, fuck this.
Oh,
Hey,
come
Scott,
on. Oh, give me some love. Come on.
Scott, you can stick around?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Those guys are the hippest.
That's just.
And they love Tipitina. They were like Tipitina's house band.
Wait, are you still talking about Radiators?
Are you still talking about New Orleans?
Yeah. Well, that's.
Unlike Chris Wallace, I actually do have a mute button.
Careful.
I
Oh,
guess they're supposed to be changing the way the debates are going to be. The next two debates.
Oh yeah.
So
they're gonna give them a mute power, muting power.
I don't know.
That's what they're talking about
I
doing.
watched about 30 seconds last night. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Oh,
And, I'm reading right now. This is like my little show and tell here. The Beastie Boys book, which I've had for like 2 years, and I'm finally getting around to reading it. So I'm sitting there last night with like a fan blowing cold air on me, reading about early 80s hip hop in New York, while everyone else is having meltdowns over the debate, and I'm like, this is perfect. So
I spent the night listening to Black Flag myself.
All right.
Not a bad alternative. Llama, how did you spend your night last night?
I was reading a cozy mystery.
A cozy mystery?
Yeah, like one of those whodunits, you know?
Like Hardy Boys?
No,
Encyclopedia Brown.
Yeah, it's kind of like Murder, She Wrote, but a novel.
Was Fabio on the cover?
No, those are romances. This is a mystery.
Oh, sorry.
Get you a mystery romance?
Yeah,
It was not a mystery romance.
Cozy,
Travis,
man.
Hey Travis, how did you spend the night last night?
Oh yeah, you don't want to know. I was at a funeral yesterday, so
Oh, God, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
you don't want to bring
And
that
I'm
down.
an asshole.
You know
I'm
what?
sorry.
You stop.
So I didn't watch it
Oh,
either.
man.
I was out, but I had other reasons for not watching it.
Chad's like, all right, I'm out. He's done.
Murder at LaGrange.
And like a little good funeral talk to bring the lot to a grinding halt.
Cozy bust out.
I made it pretty far actually into the debate, but it was disgusting. It was really just like hard to watch and hard to process. It brought zero value, which is what everybody expected, right? Like, I don't think anybody was like, oh, I'm going to learn something new about these candidates tonight.
I watched it, but it was muted. Like I said, I listened to Black Flag and I had it on the TV muted because I was interested in watching their faces.
People
And
look
who was
really
sweating
funny
and yeah.
What
So
was
it
that,
was
Scott?
interesting to see that. What you got, Scott?
People look really funny when they're muted.
They do. They do. And you see a lot into their souls because you aren't being distracted by hearing. You're only seeing. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Oh, that was Billy Breath's perfect replica.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm
So how
trying
do
to
you
make
feel
up for my
about
6-second acceptance speech.
have you been through this show tonight? Have you listened to it?
We already did that.
No, but no, you asked him if he was there. What do you think of it as overall in the arc of the tour?
I don't remember. I listened to it when it came out last year on Live Fish, and I don't remember a whole hell of a lot. The Birds of the Feather's fantastic, and I don't know. I'd have to sit there and analyze like the shows versus
Right.
shows. I mean, my favorite is Deer Creek Night One.
Okay.
And you have the Alpine Encore, you have the Fluffhead the night before. The Atlanta shows were fantastic, and Camden was Live Fish. That shocked us. So, yeah, I don't know really where it ranks up. I'm not one to sit there and rank shows like Chopaganda, but I enjoyed it, and I'm certainly looking forward to revisiting it tonight.
Good answer.
Where do you rank it?
Awesome.
Where do I
Stan?
rank it? I would probably say it runs mid of the pack. You know, if what are there 23 shows on that tour?
There, man.
I would say it was 11 or 12. No, I was not there. I was not at this show.
The second set is what you should tune in for sure tonight.
5-song second set.
Yeah, it's a deep set.
Big
First
Cypress
set.
Song, you?
Hey, Scott. Hey, guys.
What?
Hey, Mike.
Fenoya.
Hey,
Oh,
Mike.
wait, we gotta play Fenoya.
Welcome, Mike. Right on. Good to see you, man.
Mike was at that show. I think.
Winner of exceptional podcast.
There he is.
Yeah.
We
Oh, yeah.
flipped
Half
on
of it.
recording intros this week. So sorry, buddy.
Okay. Good to see you guys, man.
Yeah.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm excited for tonight. Tonight was one of my this show. I heard you guys talking, and I realized I was muted, and I'm yelling, "No, the first set, the first set."
Oh,
There you go.
Let's have
Good
this fight,
answer.
Mike. Let's have this fight.
No, this was one of those.
It's a debate, Chad. Not
You
a
know
fight.
those those shows, those nights where like you just have an extremely unique experience that you end up remembering. What is it? 19 years later? When the hell was this show?
99, so 21 years later.
Yeah,
I did a lot of this tour, and this
this
night,
show could drink legally now.
My kids from back then can drink legally.
hopefully the show votes.
Yeah, hopefully. Jesus.
Hopefully.
I had a great time. Were you at the show, Scott?
I was not. Missed it by 2 nights.
Yeah, Oswego, then Burgettstown, and then this. And we were cooking at Oswego, and a guy couldn't afford food, so he traded us acid for
Literally,
food.
'cause it was like 100 degrees up there.
Yeah, it was so hot. And he traded us a little bit of L for some grilled cheese. And
Great trade.
I was
Yeah,
cooking my
that's fantastic.
he put it in a
Great
bag
trade.
of like trail mix, and I wasn't looking. My friends were all kind of cooking, whatever. We're pulling into Burgettstown, or we're pulling into Columbus, and I'm just eating. I'm pouring the trail mix down my throat and not even like going through it. And that's where all the hits were. So I was on the moon before that show started.
How many were in there? How many did you take?
I don't know, but a lot. Whatever he traded,
Couple
2 grilled
10 strips. it
two
was-
grilled cheese worths at.
Whatever grilled cheeses were worth.
My
at that
friends were
time.
like, "Where'd the trail mix go?" And I'm like, "Uh-oh." And I kind of,
I'm good.
Yeah. I was kind of getting into this with Scott earlier, but I was like, a friend of mine had to text me to remind me that I was at this show.
dude, there's like a couple of pivotal things that happened during this show that make me never forget this show, and the Polaris Amphitheater as like one of like these places that's forever just
It's
stamped.
it's a cool venue.
You see what happened to it?
No, what happened?
So Polaris is no more. Go Google Polaris. They took the seats out. There's graffiti. I'm not sure if they tore it down completely, but it was deserted and just looks so eerie.
It's just like a Roman Coliseum.
They host
With
hardcore
abandoned
bands
venues.
now.
It's like on that documentary series where they go to like dilapidated, broken down malls in Ohio. Kind of like possums in the
parks?
pond.
Yeah,
So-
band amusement parks.
I don't know
Wait,
if
so
you-
what happened at the show though?
Well,
Mike?
so Fast Enough for You, it was so hot and humid and steamy. It poured balls during the encore. So it was all humid during like the show, and I was tripping so hard during Fast Enough for You, I could see the humidity. I could actually like see the heat. I could see and I looked down. I lost all my friends, and I'm in the middle of the lawn. I think the middle of the lawn, but I was around a lot of people that I don't know.
You're
And I
probably on
looked
stage.
down.
Little to the left.
I looked down during Bowie, and the grass is bright red.
Nice.
And I'm like, why is the lawn bleeding? Like, like the place is gonna fill with blood. Like, I start getting into the
went
space
red.
of like, we're doing the wrong thing. Like the music's evil. Like blah blah blah. Like, and I was nervous to tell anybody, but people would walk away, and I'm like, don't walk that. Like, you're gonna fall into the pool of blood, and we're all on the shallow end of it. The set
Like,
ends, and
The
everybody.
end is near. The end is near.
The set ends and everybody moves, and there was like a Tommy Hilfiger logo painted on the lawn, and I was just standing in the red part of it. That was what I thought.
Yes.
And I looked down and I was fucking. Finally, I just went, "Whew! All right, that's cool. What a set!" And then I ran into a
Tommy
friend of mine,
Hilfiger.
and
Tommy Hilfiger.
Well, I was gonna ask you, Mike. Like when you took all that, did you have that moment of like, oh shit, I ate all that acid, or did like all of your friends like, did you have that
I
moment
was
of
19,
that, or did you ever never?
So I was 19,
So you didn't really care?
so I was like, I don't care. I was still invincible.
Like
you know
fuck
what I
it,
mean?
it's just
Human-
acid. I'll take it.
It's
all.
all-
those
Adult
were the days.
anxiety. I know. Adult
You just-
anxiety wasn't a thing yet.
Wasn't a thing, and
And
as
now,
and as
now-
a
I mean,
youth,
I don't
you're
even
like, fuck
remember a
it.
time before anxiety anymore. It seems
I
so
know, right?
foreign.
now.
We took a bus trip once to see the Dead at RFK, and they passed around a jug that had 10 strips floating around in it. Everybody
Oh,
on the bus
boy.
but me drank it. And we show up there, and the host of the thing is like, well, we have shrimp, and they lay out all this food. I'm the only one eating, and I'm like, I look around, everyone's fucking so far out there, and I'm like, oh, my lucky day, I don't like orange juice.
There was a giant thunder and lightning storm right above the like the lightning was hitting her all around the stage during the during the encore, and this was the night we found out we were all going to Cyprus for. And you want to know what was funny? We got back to the car, and there was no like, it was just like we all, because we all watched the show in different places. The crew I went with, we did like most of that tour. We all got back together at the car in the pouring rain. And then traffic was like, so who's driving to Cyprus? Like, who's doing, like, we started thinking about it, and we were already like, because he announced it during
That's great. You driving?
Beat Stick.
I can't drive, but you can drive.
This place was, man, this tonight's show, Fast Enough and Strange Design in that, in a like a mid first set Bowie. I think the first, I mean, they're all, the second set's dynamite, but this first set, coming off of Oswego and Burgettstown, was just fire. I loved it. I absolutely.
You know, now I'm looking forward to listening to that first set again tonight, because I went back and I looked at Fishnet, thank you, Scott, on and looked at the set on paper, and I was like, I remembered that second set. I was like, oh yeah, that was a whip. But then you're right though, man. Anytime Strange Design is in the first set, just like, you know, sign me up. Yeah, and Fast Enough. Yeah.
The second set tape is definitely a tape that never left the car tape player for a good like 6-month chunk. You know, like when you almost wonder if you pull it out.
And when you do take it out, it's warped because it's sat there all summer.
I'm excited for this one. That's such a bummer, Scott. Like, I think I'm kind of a venue nerd, and I think about that a lot, where it's like, what about all those old places that we've been to? And you know, the names always change because of corporate, but man, that's wild. I wonder how many other places.
That's what makes Merriweather so special. It's been around since the 60s.
Yeah.
And it's very little change. I mean, the roof fell
They
in.
raised the roof.
They expanded the lawn. But the basic structure of the place is the same as it was when Hendrix played there in 69, you know?
Wow. SPAC's got to be pretty old too, I think.
I think it is, yeah.
Alpine.
I think that SPAC hosted a lot of like Shakespearean stuff and like opera stuff because it was part of the park up there. I went to a wedding at SPAC where there was like there's an automobile museum at Saratoga at the park there that has like millions and millions of dollars of like antique old like Maserati race cars and the Batman car, and Saratoga's got a lot of really neat stuff.
I think you're more likely to get older venues with indoor stuff like the Fox Theater, or places that have been around for like 100 years or something. Maybe not so much now with arenas, but when they play at smaller places, you have a better chance of seeing a show in an old venue.
Yeah, totally.
We actually we're going to be doing something next month for Save Our Stages, and a lot of those smaller venues, even the ones that are really storied and 100 years old, are really struggling right now. So we're going to, try to raise awareness and maybe some funds. I don't know. We're still in the planning, but it's kind of really sad because we're working it. We realize that a lot of our favorite venues that you're talking about, the really old but small theaters, are not doing so well right now. So
like Tipitina's Galactic, the band Galactic bought Tipitina's in February, and then Corona hit.
Oh man!
Not only are they a touring band, they bought a club that is maybe the most iconic club in the world.
Yeah,
and you get hit with Corona.
The last show I saw before this all closed down was at the Troubadour. Now, same thing with them. They're in trouble.
That's another one. Yeah,
I wanted to get to that with Mike because you mentioned comedy clubs there. This has got to be brutal on you, man.
Oh, on me personally, sure. Yeah, it sucks. But I also feel horrible for the wait staff at the club.
Yeah.
And the tech, I had the opportunity, a blessing, to open up for the Impractical Jokers at so many cool venues. I did Radio City Music Hall in January.
Right.
I got to perform there.
Yeah.
And that was insane. I watched Dead Ahead that day and just watched that acoustic.
Yeah.
It was like, I showed up there in tears and I left in tears, and it's like, it feels like 100 years ago. But the comedy clubs, like the little club, like comedy clubs are like jazz clubs where they're like low ceiling and the people who work the door have worked the door for 30 years, and it's their life, and they're that guy. They're like a part of New York City, or a part of whatever city.
Right.
Just like Tipitina's is a part of New Orleans, and I feel bad for just
And-
people
and
who
he-
have
and-
made it
and-
like their
you-
life to work at these places.
Yeah, and even the places like I'm more associated in the improv community. So, but the places like IO done, UCB pretty much done. They're trying to hang on. Second City, who knows? God knows. Like these big institutions, like these aren't small clubs. These are $1 million companies. Are not making it.
The thing that stinks too is that like if this spikes again, and right now I think a lot of cities with municipalities and stuff are looking at, we need to get ready for fall and winter cleanup. So all outdoor dining is being like, pack it up, bring it back inside, and they're at like maybe 25% capacity. You can't have a show.
Yeah.
In New York, they had us and comics and exotic dancers like pulled together. It wasn't musicians. It was comedy and exotic dancing. No shows.
Which one were you?
I guess you've never seen my act. Huh?
and those the people in that industry, you know, whether you look down on it or not, they obviously support families off of that.
No, we all love comedians.
Yeah, we all love comedians, right?
I want to re-give Scott the Lifetime Achievement Award just for that joke.
Yeah,
the timing and like the everything about it just landed.
Crushed it.
Thank you so much.
Well, I guess speaking of awards too, I did want to touch on the podcast. I don't know if Oteil
he just texted me. He was looking for the link, so I just emailed him. He'll be on in a sec.
Oh, cool, man. We'll hold on.
Oh, here he is. Perfect.
There he is.
I wanted to make sure we talked about the podcast, but
cool, man.
Now with Oteil, we can both all talk
and
about
your
it.
winners of Podcast of the Year.
Exceptional
From Osiris
podcast.
Media.
You needed a keyboard intro with that. You
Okay,
really
fine.
needed-
Then you do the voiceover. I'll do the keyboard. You ready?
There's my friend.
Hey, sorry.
Winner of Exceptional Podcast of the Year comes a time.
Hey, Oteil, how's it going?
My man, how you doing?
Congratulations. It's
Hey,
quite the
Oteil.
honor to win a Wookiee award.
Most important thing ever.
It's the coolest, man. Sorry it took me so long to get on, but my kids, it was dinner time and there was mayhem all around.
How old are they? How old are the
2 and
kids?
5.
Oh, that's a fun age.
I got 14 and 16, so you got a lot to look forward to.
That's all right.
Oteil and I were making schedules of how long we can each have the Wookiee award at our house to spend
Well,
time
who
with
should
our
I send it to
families, and we
first?
should- Oteil first. You
Okay,
can
we'll
send
give it to Oteil first.
No. It should go to Mike first.
Oteil just doesn't want a Wook to have his address. That's the reason he's
Dude, I saw Star Wars in the theater the year it came out. Like I'm a total Wook fan.
That's my favorite, by the way. Is I get every once in a while with the whole like Chewbacca brand stealing, we'll get some Star Wars fans who think that we're like a Star Wars account, and then we're talking about like the dead and fish and everything, and they're like, "What the hell did I get into?"
And it's so
I had
intertwined.
to explain what a Wookiee award was, what a Wookiee was to my family last year.
There you go. Very nice.
What is a Wook? Well, let me explain to you.
Love it.
So we were just getting into, and I'm glad it was perfect timing actually with you jumping in about your podcast starting this year. Had you guys been friends beforehand, or did you get together just for this idea? How did this come together?
Oteil held auditions for a guest host. No. Oteil did my podcast, Amigos, and we had set up a time to hang in New York in between, what was it, MSG and Nassau in the fall with Dead and Company.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like we did my podcast and it was supposed to be like a half hour, and 2 hours later we're like, we're best friends now. And we kept.
Well, you guys have great chemistry. I mean, it's right from the very first episode I heard. It's very obvious, right? Like that's what I love about it the most, and I think that's what pushed it over the edge. Because as silly as it is, like it's also genuine, right? Like it's like we consider a lot of podcasts, and there's like we take it seriously also, and I think it's the chemistry you two have. It sounds like you guys have been friends for years. That's why I was wondering, because you have a very good chemistry and you feed off of each other well, and you talk. You feed energy to each other. So
Yeah,
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Inning, pretty much, from the first moment. So, it's real. It just popped. It just happened immediately, and it's only grown since then, I think.
And the thing that was cool is that Oteil's a giant comedy fan, so we got to nerd out about
cool.
old movies and Mel Brooks and stand up, and like I would tell him how I go on the road and listen to music when I'm in a hotel by myself, freaking out, and he's like, when I get off stage, I listen to stand up. So that was kind of cool.
Oh,
wow. We had this
Awesome.
idea to do a podcast about spirituality, microdosing, higher states of, awareness. And then COVID hit. And then we kind of realized we should do this podcast. And we came up with, we remember Oteil like going through, like we had a million different ideas for names. And then one night it was like 3 a.m. and I get a text, dude, with 100 exclamation, comes a time.
Oh man, that's so great. Off
Hell
air,
yeah.
My favorite song from the Dead.
Mike, off air, we have to talk about microdosing. I gotta know what that's all about.
Why off the air?
I don't know. We can talk about it now.
It's done me a world of good over the past few months. Thank you, somebody in this room.
No, I mean like a hookup. Anyway. So no, I listened to the.
Why talk?
Right, I know. You got me. I listened to the last episode, the most recent one, about anxiety and depression with your guys. Man, that was powerful. Like I had to stop several times in that episode when I was listening to it. I had to pause because I had to like go catch my breath. You guys really touched on some deep stuff. Like what was that experience? Because it felt like it was more than a podcast. It felt like you guys were touching on some deep stuff.
But we talk about that stuff with each other a lot.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that depends on just having really fucking cool guests like those guys. But when you're on that wavelength, you're kind of trying to zero in for those type of people. And those two are just, Chaim and Zach were just like, we were writing stuff down, right? Mike, we were like,
totally. We called each other after with like, what quote did you like the best? One thing I thought that they said that was unbelievably profound, and I've been thinking about it quite a bit, is if like you have a friend that's maybe going through something, instead of saying to them, no, you're crazy, everybody loves you. Instead of saying that, you go, I've been there. And you kind of normalize their feeling of anxiety, and then they don't feel so alone. And that was like,
you say, pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah, we've all had that time where we've been like, how the hell do I be a friend to this person? And it's hard. You can talk to everybody but them.
I feel like it's the most powerful statement.
I feel like most of us have gone through anxiety or depression at some point in our lives. And so it's something that is relatable. I mean, especially in the pandemic now and with the way our society is, it's prevalent with a lot of people. I think it's easy to say, yeah, I've been there. Just, if you could relate and have empathy, it makes just a world of difference to people.
In a weird, like, silver lining way, I was thinking about this last night. I actually feel less alone this year, though, because of that. Because I was watching what was happening last night, and the first thought that happened to me is, like, I could just picture millions of people across the country with that gut, like the feeling in their gut, like what the fuck's going on, and the anxiety and the depression and the stress. And I feel connected a little bit more. It's like almost through all the division and all the shit. Like it's kind of feel a little more connected with everybody.
What's funny is I didn't even watch it because
I only made it like 10 minutes, and then I was like, "Fuck this."
My phone kept going off, so I was still connected with the empathy because people were like, can you believe this motherfucker he just said blah, blah, blah. So I'm still getting it. I'm still connected. And I thought, oh, he's winning. Don't let him troll you. Like, just unplug it, or I don't know.
It's different though when you're. It's different when you're actually not watching it though, and you're getting like the little snippets, and you can get the recap later on, and not be upset for watching for an hour and a half.
Exactly.
I turned off the sound and put on Black Flag and watched their fucking faces while I listened to Black Flag, and that told me everything I needed to know.
I used to watch debates from like probably the 80s on, and I would be like, just turn the sound down and you're going to know everything need to know about each candidate. And you could just see the fucking bullshit. You could just see the insincerity or the sincerity. Like you turn the sound off with Bernie, you want to hear, and just wants to go turn the volume up.
Thank you.
You just want to hear what he's saying, because you just feel that, the goodness just coming off. And I just was like, I never watched any of the stuff with the sound on. I was just like, you got to compel me to want to turn the sound on, and
exactly. and 93% of language is your body. It's what you're saying with your body, not with your words or your tone. So that tells you everything you need to know. The Futurama episode with Nixon's head and he's sweating. That's like totally an encapsulation of our world right now.
So are you Philly for like your accent's straight up Pennsylvania, right?
Dude,
when he's from Baltimore.
No, I'm from Baltimore.
Yeah, he's not.
Baltimore, baby.
All
day.
right.
Yeah, Baltimore, DC, and I know Oteil knows about DC there.
I would have pegged you more. I was thinking Maryland, somewhere in Maryland.
Can I ask a question to Oteil about DC?
Sure, Kev. What do you got?
Okay, you grew up there in the late 70s, early 80s, and two of my favorite musics are go-go and hardcore. You were there for Bad Brains and Chuck Brown. Can you give some insight into influence of either one of them?
What's funny is my head was in a totally different place, because I was into my parents' music. My parents were really into jazz, and I was a jazz drummer originally, So I was studying classical music and jazz and different things. And then I kind of got into later on into Parliament Funkadelic and, Stevie and Earth Fire to when I started playing bass guitar. But I was very aware of Bad Brains. And now that I'm older, I realize how much go-go just infused me. It was just so
prevalent,
ubiquitous there, and I love it, man. Trouble Funk and Chuck Brown and Experience Unlimited and all that stuff. And I follow some of those guys now on Instagram and Sugar Bear and stuff. And but I'm really into it now. I'm really into HR and, I'm getting into more of that stuff now. And
I found it afterwards. I was around for Minor Threat, but it took me 30 years before I was like, oh, I want to listen to Minor Threat.
Totally. I couldn't get into the clubs, so.
Right.
And I wasn't about breaking the law, because I didn't want to get in the system. My parents were like, so after I left home and I was old, and I left home, it still took me a couple of years to be legal age,
Very nice. Thank you. Tim was like, really, you're going to go there? And I was like, yeah, I need to ask him.
I have no problem with you going there. I think it's a good question.
Man, 202.
Very nice.
Oteil, if I could just jump in for a second. I've been following you on Instagram for a while. And you're one hell of a role model to me and to a lot of people with what you have to say, and it's important. It means so much. I live in suburbia in Rhode Island, and I don't necessarily see everything that's going on and know everything, and it just keep doing what you're doing, man. It's really important.
Yeah, I've really, when Mike and I talked about, post-pandemic, post-George Floyd, it's well, things are a little different. But we were just like, you know what? Whatever. Same subject, same thing, mental health, empathy, spirituality, love, all the stuff that matters. Nothing changed. It's more, all of it's more necessary, you know. And I think especially for our community, which, let's face it, is a lily white community, you know. But you know, like on my
Welcome to Wook Plus.
well, but right, because look, when I pointed it out on my Instagram post about John Ehrlichman, who was the legal counsel for Richard Nixon, he said explicitly in an interview in like Harper's Magazine or Variety or something that they targeted hippies and black people. I was like, those are my two communities. Like, they specifically targeted from the White House down and every agency underneath them, you know? So I think it's really relevant what me and Mike are doing, going back historically all the way back to the beginning, really, you know. And I'm really grateful to Mike and to the whole community for giving me the opportunity to, like, you know, hit every third rail. Remember when they said, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, don't talk about race, you know, on your Instagram, your face. And we're just like third rail, third rail, third rail.
Have you been getting a lot of pushback from people? Like,
No. Because that's the beautiful part about your relationship, from what I noticed from the podcast. It's like
hi, you, Chad Oteil.
What's that?
No, I was asking if Oteil's gotten like fan pushback. If anybody.
You said no, right?
Joking.
No, tons.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
no, I'm sorry. I thought you said no. I'm sorry. I did not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Chad, I think you misread that. I
did
think
misread that completely.
No. We're not all peace and love. I mean, we are, but there's our scene's not as clean and pure as we like to pretend it is.
There's deadheads for Trump. There's like a group. I was like, okay, I guess we really just, it takes all kinds. You got to have some yin with the yang, and I don't understand it, but there it is. Like,
with the public profile, though, you're gonna have people that don't even fall into deadheads for Trump that are gonna chime in, and like when I've seen you respond with class and you treat them fairly. You know, you're not letting people get to you.
Go fuck themselves.
I must have missed those, but in general,
behind the scenes.
I did one publicly. Yeah, I've lost my cool before, and I've apologized before on the podcast, and you know, I feel bad, like kind of dragging Mike through all this stuff sometimes. But look, we're all in it together, right?
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Nixon was targeting blacks and hippies. They said those are our two biggest enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? Yeah. Like, what? You gotta pick on the nice little guys? Like, what? Oh, Jesus, man. So we gotta, you know, we're all in this together.
And we
if I
stay strong together.
If I could add one thing to that too, it's the learning experience that it's been. Like, every now and then I need to kind of remind myself that I'm co-hosting this with Oteil, because I'm just sitting there learning. And I mean, like, Bob Weir, Melvin Seals, Mickey Hart, Mountain Girl, you know, the guys from Backline, the guys from Head Count, the one that Oteil and I just did together. I mean, like,
your guests have been incredible.
It's just like, but the thing is that there's been this throughput throughout every episode that it's about availability and openness and vulnerability and like being okay, not being okay, and that kind of perfectly imperfect thing that connects to the music we go see and the people that we circle ourselves with and all of that. And I think that was every single time we hang up from an episode, we end up calling each other right away and being like, did I just sit through therapy? Like,
yeah, right. No, that's what it felt like. Yeah,
it's unreal. And I'm telling you, like, that's why we decided to do the Patreon for the podcast, was because we have a lot of conversations where it's just Oteil and I, like, on the phone. I look at the phone, and in podcast brain, I'm like, well, that was an episode. We just talked for an hour, and it's like, let's just throw those in, because we were getting questions from people. And
yeah,
I think my whole thing with this, and I tell them all the time how honored I am to be doing it. And I'll repeat that now. It's a blessing and an honor, and it's saving my life.
And Oteil, you should feel the same.
I do, man. I feel
shut up. But the fact is that if one person, you know, like, feels something from one episode, mission accomplished.
It's
you know what I mean? Like, if one person learned something from the guys at Backline, I could speak for myself, and I know Oteil, we've both lost people to addiction and sadness and suicide, and you know, if we can help. Yeah, I mean, in the comedy world, it happens too. You go to the club and you hear, "Oh, did you hear so and so died?" And it's like,
It's all about the courage of being vulnerable in a public space.
Well, Trey had just tweeted yesterday the New York Times article where opioid deaths are up in, I think, 40 states over the last 6 months.
And Vermont
so, I mean,
was, I
yeah.
think, the focus of the article was that it was Vermont.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's only getting tougher, and so I think it's like you see this darkness rising up, and then you see this great love rising up on the other side to meet it.
Yeah.
And so you just got to pick which side you want to be on, you know.
You know, also if you're feeling down, just search Oteil Burbridge bass solo "Eyes of the World," and you'll it's like the best healing.
Wait, the acid Eyes of the World.
Anyone.
No, that 2016 Gorge show that you took the Owsley for the first time. That's what I wanted to ask you about.
That's what I was
that Eyes of the World is one of my favorite. Like, I'm a huge Eye. That's my third favorite Dead or top 3 Dead song anyway. But
you could do that as long as you're not Oteil Burbridge, because then if I listen to it, my critic's gonna be like,
"Oh no,
you're like, oh man,
yeah,
I'm good." Oh, I can tell you're about to go off the rails here. You know?
That's the beauty of it, though, man. And I wanted to ask you if you ever caught Mayer again since that night, because you said that was the first time you'd ever been able to catch John when you were on that stuff. Have you ever been caught him again?
Well, I think we all caught each other another night. And that's really the thing, is that, you know, it's not just for me, although it feels good if I can finally, you know, every person has their own trajectory. When you watch A School of Fish or a Flock of Birds, and you just see that movement, you know, and it's when you play with the same guys that I did for so many years, like with Warren and Derek and the Allman Brothers for 17 years, I get used to their flight patterns, to their tendencies. And then with Mayer, it's just like a whole nother, you know. But then later on, when we all kind of hooked up together, that's when it gets, yeah,
that's awesome.
That's when it gets mystical. And, you know, that's when I feel like everybody believes in God, or whatever you want to call it at that point, because you experience it and nobody can tell you it's not real at that point. You're like, everybody saw, you hear it, people go, you know, it's a real sacred, mystical happening.
Yeah, you don't even have to explain it. You just feel it. Everyone in the room feels it.
Is it different? Is it different playing? Is it different playing with the Dead than it was for the Almonds in the aspect of jamming in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, every different lineup of people is different. So, like, if someone new sits in with the Allman Brothers, it's different. Or when someone new sits in with Dead and Company, it's different. Like, every molecule of change affects the whole. So I take it one band at a time, and within a band, one night at a time, because we all feel differently night to night. So you can't, it's all so many subjective things that could never.
You're very adaptive, though. Oh, sorry.
Do you use that Porter? Sorry, Wook. I just want to.
No,
do you use
it's
the
all right.
Porter
You
and
go.
Davies KT shaker pad
Wook.
still that you stand on for every show? Do you still use the Porter and Davies KT shaker platform that you stand on for the Dead shows?
Oh, the vibrating thing.
Yeah, the vibrating thing.
My volume was so low I couldn't feel the
So
bass. Like, what am I doing? So they got me to sing. But then my wife was like, everybody says you're not having any fun anymore. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, you don't dance.
You're not vibrating.
Stuck on the fucking, 3 foot by 4 foot. So then we got rid of that so I could move around again. But I had to add like an 18-inch speaker. But,
So you just barefoot? Do you play barefoot just for the hell of it now? Because I'm a guy that hates shoes, so like my whole thing is no shoes.
talked
But
about
like
that the other
I'm
day.
very inspired by your no shoes on the stage.
when you're standing in front of a bass amp, man, you can feel all the low end vibration in your feet so much better if you're barefoot. And I like being barefoot anyway. I live at the beach.
Yeah, we had a conversation about that the other day. I went hiking up in the Appalachian Trail, and Oteil was on the beach.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how, like, just after a long hike and then taking off your boots and like putting your bare feet in the forest and like
on the real
feeling that
ground.
connection, you know. And he's talking about how he, you know, in Florida, it's just there's something so feels so
I
good
refuse
about
to
it.
dance at any concert. I refuse to wear shoes. Like I'll always wear my flip flops and take them off because I like feeling the floor, like the ground underneath me. And I feel like
Even
we've lost so
Pittsburgh in
much wearing
December?
shoes and stuff. Anytime, Kev, anywhere, anytime. I hate wearing
He's
shoes.
like,
to
I don't
dance.
care. Gnarly.
I don't care, man. I got to feel the earth underneath me. It just helps me move. It's just that
Even
thing.
if
It's
it's
that vibration.
concrete.
Anywhere,
think-
man. It's just yes, Kev. Anytime.
Slippers are
Kev, just
nice.
list like 15 different floor types. It's fine.
So
Wait, even when it's
they're-
hardwood?
Linoleum?
Even the crazy stupid thing they put at Dick's that hurts your feet like hell, I still go barefoot on.
Even
I
when it's
draw the
AstroTurf?
I draw the line at splinters and vomit, and but otherwise,
Yeah, the bathroom I usually put my shoes back on to go to the
and,
piss.
broke,
but
and
other than
broken
that-
glass. Sorry,
You're
splinters.
cool
vomit,
until you
and broken-
throw up. It's
I get
after that,
I get
it's-
where Oteil's coming from, but Travis, I would not go to a show without shoes. Jesus.
No, I wear them. I just take them. I just
When
don't-
you get
once
to
I'm
your
in,
spot,
once
yeah.
I get in,
back
yeah, they're
pocket.
done.
You put them in your back pocket or what?
No, they're just flip flops, and I usually try to just take care of my shoes during the show. Keep track.
There
of
you
it.
go.
Advice.
Whatever you
Good
do.
advice.
Oh, hey, Chad, we got your friend, your buddy, our
Oh,
buddy.
hey, Oteil, I really wanted to do this. This was something I really wanted to do. This
Uh-oh.
this is a bass player that turned me on to you originally back in the days of Aquarium Rescue Unit, whatever. I used to play in bands with this guy, and he's now the bass player for Sturgill Simpson.
Wow,
You know, and you guys have met. Do you know Chuck Bartels?
it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys might know each other, but you guys are like both like two of my favorite bass players in the world.
Oh, I do know you.
yeah.
I know I'm terrible with names, but I remember faces.
I'm the same way. I'm terrible with names.
What's
Hey,
up,
everybody.
Chuck?
Hey
Chuck.
guys, how's it going?
Hey, Chuck,
Good.
Oteil,
Hey,
Chuck,
Chuck.
once again, you guys get to meet.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, of course.
Where did we meet first?
I saw you on when you were in support of your, I believe it was your first solo album. You were at the Magic Bag with the Peacemakers in Detroit. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like 2000 or something.
yeah, yeah. I met both you and Kofi that night.
Oh, that might have been like 98.
That might have been the 90s. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. We're still kicking, dude.
I know, man. I know.
Sturgill
Chat.
Simpson, congratulations, bro.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's killer.
Things have
Chad,
been pretty
that was-
quiet lately, of course, but
That was ballsy, Chad.
We all have, but so many of my students, they ask me like, what's your secret, man? And I go, what Colonel Bruce told me, he said 99% of success is showing up. And he just meant just be on time, be a good guy, be good at what you do, keep showing up. I'm like, with all the numbnuts in this business, you're gonna get a shot. Somebody's
I got this.
the plane, miss the like just keep going. Hey, here's my little girl.
Oh, there she is.
Right on.
What's your name, kid?
Nice.
Copy.
What's her name?
This is why you never bring your children to the show.
Copy.
Very nice, very nice. I call every kid a kid. They're kids. They're little people. They do what they want. They live their lives.
Yeah. Oh, potty time?
Oh, nice.
Potty time.
Nice.
You take it.
Chad, that was ballsy because you're like, Oteil, remember this guy Chuck? And what if Oteil's like, that piece of shit? I hate that guy. He blocked
He
me.
stole my car.
Yeah, he drank my Pepsi.
There
I
was
gotta
a
go. I'll
band-
see you later.
Oh, hey,
Mike,
Chuck. Nice to
We're
see you.
talking about anxiety. Chad told me, he's like, hey, I want to ask Oteil if he knows Chuck. And Chuck's an incredible bass player, and I'm glad it worked out. But like my anxiety, as soon as he said, it, I was like, no, Chad, don't do that. Like, don't put him on the spot. Like, we'll just introduce Chuck and we'll have a
Oteil's
good
like,
time. My
"That
anxiety was like
jerk."
through the roof.
It could
I
go
was,
very
I was,
wrong.
I was pretty freaked out about it too. To be
Man, Chuck, I gotta tell you, I wasn't familiar with Sturgill Simpson. I'm not a huge country guy, but I've been diving into your work, and damn, you can slap that bass. You're a pretty
Oh.
good player.
Oh, thank you. I have Mr. Burbridge to thank for a lot of that. He's definitely one of my 2 or 3 holy shit bass moments of my entire life. So, not to embarrass you or anything or put you on the spot, but yeah.
I'm sure he gets it often.
Well, it's the truth. First
We
time I
had-
heard it.
We had some blowouts at the Magic Bag, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, the bag, baby.
Yeah.
Go for it at that place. Wow. That's
Yeah.
going back.
Hey, Oteil, who blows your mind?
Oh, it's funny. I joke with a lot of people. A lot of my heroes, people don't know. Like, I'll never forget. We played this show called "Surrender to the Air" with Trey.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Michael Ray.
And Trey and Fishman and guys from Sun Ra's band and Mark Rebo and I think Medeski was there. There was like a bunch of, there was some of Sun Ra's guys there.
Michael Ray was there.
Michael Ray and Marshall Allen, right? This was just like crazy. So we're leaving it was at the Academy of Music. I think it was the last night that place was open in New York. And me and my brother are leaving and going back to the hotel. And a couple of the Fish fans are like following us because they want to know where Trey and Fish
the after show is.
So I'm like, whatever. I personally don't even know if they were staying at the same hotel. I think Fishman might, but I wasn't sure anyway. So I was like, I don't know how far you
just give him a fake room number.
Yeah, so this dude's coming out of the hotel and we're going into the hotel, me and my brother Kofi, and we both are like, oh shit, we know this guy. And I'm thinking, I have like literally 2 seconds to get his name to come to mind. He's just gonna walk past, and then I gotta chase him down and be like weird in New York, So I didn't even have the whole name. I was like, excuse me, is your name Joe? And then he goes, why, yes. And my brother went, Joe Henderson. Oh my God. He goes completely.
Your brother saved you.
Yeah. And he's just like a jazz sax player. And I hear the Fish fans behind me going, who's Joe Henderson?
Somebody asked Scott Marks who Joe Henderson is.
Yeah, and I don't
Perfect. That's
like
so
just
great.
go look it up on your phone back then. You know what I mean? But it's a lot of people like that are just, they're jazz guys or more obscure Afro-Cuban guys like Cachao or Changuito or Giovanni Hidalgo or I have a bunch of people that because a lot of my parents' music. I was a musician since I was 5.
What about current stuff like that? Are there any current bands you're into like that?
There's very little current stuff. There's current stuff that I listen to. A lot of it actually on our scene, like, the Wood Brothers and Lettuce and Soul Live and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I hate
Love
to even
Soul Live.
leave people out. There's a lot of stuff that
Yeah, well, we have a lot of people watching the lot right now, and you don't want to piss people off by leaving them out.
Well, there's all, and
Let's
I've
see,
known,
ABBA, Allman Brothers,
AC/DC.
Zappa, Zingve Malmsteen.
What about you, Chuck? What are you listening to now that's new, Chuck?
What am I listening to now? I just got turned on to Garrett Sayers, who I'm sure you guys know.
Motet.
The
I
Motet.
went to high school with him in West Hartford.
Yeah, Garrett's the
I've
man.
known
I've been
him since
digging
I was a
them.
kid. Such a great guy.
Stuff like that. But I love Joe Henderson too. Like the Inner Urge stuff, and I'm kind of all over the place with it. I'm actually in town. I got a band that plays a lot of the Allman Brothers stuff. So I'm constantly studying a combination of you, Alan, and Barry, and just kind of trying to put them all together. Just basically, I'll go for a bike ride and listen to the live performances and almost get in accidents because I'm like, God damn it, why didn't I think of that? Having all these holy shit moments, like I said. But yeah, the Motet I like a lot. I'm really into them. But most of the stuff I've been into is kind of older. I've gotten into Little Feat, and I've really gotten into Robert Palmer's first 2 records, the one where the Meters backed him up and the one where Little Feat backed him up. They're just blowing my mind.
hard to beat those guys.
Yeah. Because I never knew that about Robert Palmer. Was always the 80s guy to me, which was great stuff, but to see how he got there, to see where he started it's killing me. So
Chuck,
yeah.
Was one of his first 2 albums one of the ones where he's like kneeling on a lawn, like with there's like almost like giving flowers to a woman or something? Like
that's the third one.
The one with Spanish Moon is on.
Yeah, third record.
Third record. That's
You
phenomenal.
can leave it. I forget what it's called. Yeah, because that's what I've moved on to now. Sneak and Sally's first, and then Pressure Drop is second. That's the one with Lowell George and Kenny Gradney, and
they're so good.
Those. Yeah, it just blowing my mind. So I'm mostly in the 70s. I'm pretty much living in the 70s right now.
That's me. I go like the 70s on back to the 20s.
Rich,
or
we
at
talk-
the beginning of recorded music,
it was fun listening to Oteil and Mickey nerd out on percussionists and world music drummers on that episode of the pod.
Yeah,
And I'm
it was
writing
like your
stuff
second or third
down.
episode, right? That was really early on.
No, that was what,
That was-
fourth or fifth?
Yeah,
We had
it was early.
Yeah, but having Mickey and the way that he brought world music to I never knew that. I never knew that they didn't have a category for him. And so they created world music, and it was essentially just everything Mickey Hart produced. And remember, we talked about that, Oteil, where you're like, I didn't know that you produced all that stuff. And then you realize that Mickey had a hand in, I mean, some of the most incredible connections, people from other sides of the globe that never would have met, and Mickey pulled them together. Going back and listening to that, it's pretty wild stuff now.
Especially in light of what's happening right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It always blows my mind that you, Oteil, were the longest tenured bass player with the Allman Brothers. As long as they existed, you were the guy.
Road goes on forever.
But I'll never forget when Kirk West told me, they gave us lifetime achievement, but they gave them a lifetime achievement. And the band wouldn't accept it unless they also gave it to Mark Quinones, Warren Haynes, myself, and Derek.
Very nice.
And
what
I
about
thought,
Alan?
And I was like, wow, like, why? Thanks. But why risk not
You
getting
so
your own
shaped. I went to the
No.
Beacon. I went to the Beacon a few years when you were with them, and you shaped the sound. You really did. And I'm being a fanboy, but you really did shape the sound.
That's a fair statement, though. I agree with that 100%.
I think when Kirk told me, he said, well, think about it, Oteil. You've been there longer than all the other bass players put together.
And there's a generation of us younger guys, by the way, that have I've only seen the Allman Brothers with you. I never seen it with another bass player. So to me, seeing Allman's live, that iteration of the band was what I knew as the Allmans.
And I saw Woody a few times, but
I have to jump in here. I have to know, Oteil and Chuck, have either one of you tried to do the Victor Wooten whip the bass player around 360? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Victor.
I've seen that thing go wrong a couple of times. Wherever.
Oh no, really? Chuck, have you ever tried? I haven't seen you try it, Chuck.
The closest I've come is I'll put a weight bench behind me when I'm playing and just imply that I lift, but never actually do it.
No, I wouldn't want it to hit me in the head or go flying.
No.
A million pieces.
What's up, kid?
Guys, so all bets are off.
That shirt's phenomenal.
I love that
kid's
shirt.
wearing.
You got
That
the best
shirt's
shirt
great.
ever, man. You're gonna win a Wookie next year for that shirt.
Best supporting actor.
Yeah,
in a
best
podcast.
best shirt on the lot. There it is.
When we first got the gig, when I say we being the Burbridge family, we were at the first rehearsal, and Mickey goes, "What size is Nigel?" He was like 4 months old then.
You're like nothing. 0.
Enormous box of every Grateful Dead everything in his size shirt.
Very nice.
And all this other stuff. And I was like, dude, you have all the merch in one going back however many years,
What, you want some from Egypt 78? No
He's
problem.
hanging
I
out
got it
outside
for you.
nursery school selling 2 for $20.
All right. What you need, man? What you need?
Signed by
Parents
Oteil.
love him.
That's a good idea in pandemic time.
Why the hell not? I might do it. Send me some dead baby clothes.
Baby clothes.
Grateful Dead baby clothes.
Okay.
Baby
all right.
$5 clothes.
Only in the lot does that mean not a terrible thing.
Yeah.
So
Right.
It's a dead Kennedy's thing. Dead baby clothes. It's all right.
Yo, you know what? Have you got? I want to ask you guys. I got a chance to go to live. I saw Goose live in
That kid is great.
Morris
Sorry.
and South Farms. It's kind of cool seeing live music. I didn't know a lot about them.
Huge.
I didn't know
Goose
a lot
is gonna
about
be
Did you
them.
like it? Did you have a good time?
I did like it. First
Yeah,
of all,
they're-
the venue did an unbelievable
Super
job.
talented.
That South Farms place in Morris, they did an amazing job. They could have
I
fit
wanna
5,000 people. They did 500.
They're playing in Frederick, and I so want to go, but
That
I need
band
a
is
car
very,
and
very, very
something
good.
else.
I had a
Yeah.
good time. I had a good time watching them.
Yeah, they actually got a Wookiee too. I mean, it's not as prestigious as the Exceptional Podcast, but they got Best Tour for Bingo Tour. But
The breakfast tour was great.
the Bingo Tour. Nigel's cracking me up. He's awesome.
Their acceptance speech was
You
shorter
got the
than
best
mine.
kid ever there. You rock, kid. Right
It was
on.
great. Scott, you're Connecticut. No, New England. Have you been up to that venue?
I haven't. I'm in Rhode Island right now, but I haven't gone to Morris to check out the farm yet.
It's I'll tell you, if things are modeled or scaled up from the way they did it, I could see shows happening in the spring and summer.
Oh God, I
next
hope
year.
so.
You know what I mean? I really can. I mean, if they do it the way
Really?
that they did it, it was.
What about in comedy clubs? What about indoor places like you were talking about with the low ceilings and everything?
I don't know about that. I mean, I did comedy a couple times during this. I did a show with Dave Oteil at
You talked about that when you were on the lot before.
wherever that was in Connecticut, and then I did the Yarmouth Drive-In. I did, and then
Goose played there.
another show, and
Yeah.
but I mean
That Goose band.
the whole thing of like the social distancing element of it was kind of like it was like standing on a checkerboard, and every third checkerboard had nobody. So it was you,
Did
and
you
then a
do
whole
White
other.
Rabbit?
Huh?
Did you play White Rabbit while you were there?
No. The show started at 6 and ended at 10.
The
And I
Mike
thought
Fenoya chess move.
Yeah. I was like, I'm moving myself to the beer line. And that was it. But I'm ready for shows to get back. I'm ready for.
Do you think next summer, we're gonna have our regular tours back?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I think we're looking at 2022.
Yeah.
Your tickets are going to get busted out another year, and you're going to make lots of interest for Ticketmaster.
Hey, Mike, at that show, what did you do for beer? Was there concessions, or did they bring it to you, or how did that work?
Where was the beer?
You went to this farm was, imagine a football field, just as it wasn't a football field, but imagine that. And you're standing on one sideline and the band is playing on the 50-yard line of the other. Behind you was a row of porta potties where there was a girl this woman was amazing. She would wipe down the seat and the handle
in
of
the
every
porta potty.
Did you tip her?
Yeah, and I said,
I
go
would
get
hope.
gloves. I'm not
I
gonna be able
would
to
hope
sleep
you would
unless you
tip
put
her.
gloves on. You're making me crazy.
Holy shit!
And
How
then
much
right
you have
next,
to pay her? That has to be the worst.
That's
I'm like, did
$20
you get
an hour
arrested?
plus
I'm like,
tips.
is this like
$1 a
work
piss.
release? And
Jesus.
and then the beer line and the concessions was over on the other side, and you just went in and you paid, and they had the screen in front of them, and you wore a mask if you left your 8x8 box. Sound was phenomenal. The screens they had super clear, like HD. They did an unbelievable job.
Could you bring in? Could you bring in like a cooler? Like,
No,
could it?
No.
Oh, you couldn't bring in a cooler
and let
of
me
your
tell
own
you,
shit.
the parking lot sounded like a church parking lot. Like it was dead silent.
So would
Really?
you, if you had microphones, you could probably get a good recording just setting up in the middle of it?
Well,
What
yeah.
did they
I mean,
play it
far-
over
Yeah, probably
FM
right.
also?
I have no
So you
idea.
could do a
we
Matrix
weren't
mix?
near our car.
I'm
We
sorry, I'm
parked the
geeking
car.
out. My fault.
We parked the car and then we walked in.
Oh,
We
so
had to
this
get our
was like you weren't in the
temperature
car.
taken.
Kendall,
this
I'm gonna
was
put you
just
in the
there.
penalty box for 5 minutes.
I would like to-
respectfully.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oteil,
that was a 5? That was a 5
That was a
penalty?
5-minute penalty box.
Wow. Oh man.
5-minute major.
That's
I
harsh.
I love
wanna-
you, Kevin.
Harsh.
I would ask Oteil, do you think that there's going to be more of like those 3 or 4 day runs, less travel in between, and more kind of like once you're in, you're in? Like, remember Lock-In they were going to maybe do, and they were like,
Yeah.
you're either in for the whole thing or you leave and you can't come back, like that type. Do you see
I mean,
anything?
I hope so. I just am like, we need to get past the Civil War first, and then we'll see
No.
what's left.
It's hard to
Like
think past November.
My wife wants to say hello, guys. Sorry.
Hey,
I don't mean to
welcome to the
interrupt.
lot.
My wife, Charlene. This is the guys.
Hi.
we doing,
Hi,
Charlene?
guys.
Guys.
We're more wooks than guys, but hello.
Wait, I'm gonna jump on this transition because I have a personal question for me that I wanted to ask Oteil. This is the 1-year anniversary of Crossing Lines. And yeah, okay, Allman Brothers and Dead & Co. But for me personally, Vita Blue is
Yeah.
The weekend.
is my
Okay.
personal favorite
Okay.
that I've seen you live. I know with the pandemic, there's unforeseen, but it's a two-part question. Were there discussions with Paige about having another tour? And after we kind of get back to normal, do you think you guys will be getting back together? Because I was super excited last year after that long of a period for you to play together. And then, the world fell apart.
Yeah.
Are we going to see Vita Blue again?
And a follow up after you answer that. If you say no, will you offer the job to Chuck?
Yes.
She said Chuck would say it. But we actually had a tour. It was a little one.
Oh, I saw you. I saw you in Philly at the Fillmore. I'm saying, are you going to come back?
No, but we were going to do
the Capitol Theater. We talked about possibly doing more shows.
Yeah, they got
New Orleans
canceled
stuff this year.
Pandemic. We had Jazz Fest, and I think we had a show at the Tabernacle in Atlanta. I think we had now I can't remember, but I want to say at least 3 shows, maybe even 4. I can't remember, but
yeah,
and they would have fell down like dominoes if you had said we're doing a full tour for 2 months.
I thought I put
that was 5 minutes. How was that 5 minutes?
All right, get another 5 minutes.
We just don't want to tour. Like Paige has got kids.
Yeah.
The long tour thing is not, I really don't want to do it unless it's like really big, like Dead and Company.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay out for 2 months at a time. I really don't want to be away from my kids more than 2 weeks. So
Oteil and Friends tour.
We're on a big tour, and then I just try to limit the touring to less than that when I'm not.
I mean, we'll take 1 or 2 shows in the Northeast. Really, that's where the
why the
fan base
Northeast,
is.
man? Come on,
East Coast bias. East Coast.
Yeah, East Coast bias. LA.
No, but I think what we were gonna do was do like little, like a 4-night thing here, and maybe go to California, do a 4-night thing. So yeah, but we definitely want to play some more. We have such a blast playing together and hanging.
You look like you have fun when you're playing with them.
Yeah,
there's a high energy.
Oteil, when you're staying in LA, do you stay at John Mayer's house? And what's it like?
Oh man,
no, he stays close to the beach.
It's getting time to go into the show soon, I think.
Not yet. No, we still got an hour, baby.
Technically, John Mayer also won a Wookiee. Well, his background won a Wookiee, but
I saw that was funny.
You don't have to give up John Mayer's house, but seriously,
he gave a good speech
and I
too.
bet he does have a cassette player to play all that shit.
Do you
I'm
think
sure.
there's tape in there?
Yeah,
I would think so. He's good like that. Yeah, I think I could see him wanting those, but I don't know. I haven't got firsthand confirmation.
Next time you're in John Mayer's house, I need you to sneak in that room, open up a cassette, and find out if there is.
How is he gonna know?
Oh, how is he gonna tell you? You think Oteil's coming back on the lot?
He's got a
after
fingerprint kit with him. He's like, all right, let me see.
He usually has some kind of like get together at his house when we're on tour. If we're there, because we're usually in LA for at least 2 or 3 days.
Do they have dancing girls?
Huh?
Do they have dancing girls?
I couldn't hear you.
No, don't worry about it. I put him back in the penalty box.
Another 5-minute major.
And by the way, Oteil, I did see those shows in December when you guys were here. And actually, that's a picture from the show. Great shows. Great shows at the Forum in December. Those were fun.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I had COVID then after the fact because I got sick. I had the worst cough. And Hampton Coliseum was rough. I was supposed to sing. And I think I decided to go ahead and sing and was sorry that I did. But I was pretty sick through that run.
Damn, you sounded good at the Forum, though. You sang at the Forum, too. You sounded good.
It's always cool about being Fish fans and being at shows when you hear the guys bring their solo stuff to Fish. And you get to hear what Russ and Tony maybe played behind Trey in his band and what you played behind Paige and Vita Blue. Like, so when they started playing, like most events aren't planned. That was always my favorite Vita Blue tune. I love that tune. And just that, like, when you kick it up and it's like that, ba-doom, da-doom, 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 and like you, like the bass is responsible for the step up to the next part of the song, and it's neat hearing Mike do that and in Fish, but it's Paige's. It's always neat. It's always really neat to.
I need to hear that. That's cool.
When they did the Baker's Dozen, they did a really amazing.
Actually, Oteil, have you ever seen Fish live? Because you've always been touring.
with Fish.
Well, no, but I mean, seen it in the audience though, because he's always touring basically when Fish is playing.
A couple of times. I saw him once at Madison Square Garden.
too.
I forget the year. I mean, yeah, there are a million times, but it was a while back. And then we played with him a bunch in the early days. And
The Aquarium Rescue Unit.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with the shows that you played there, but it just dawned on me that all these bands probably don't really get to see each other because their tours are always overlapping.
It's the musician's curse. I mean, you want to see all this stuff, and it's like even if they're at the same festival, sometimes.
Same question for Chuck. Have you ever seen Fish live?
I have not. No.
You're actually, Chuck, this is a cool honor. The first guest we've ever had on the lot that hasn't seen Fish.
Where's his Wookiee? He should get like a reverse Wookiee. He should have to give you a Wookiee or something.
Chuck, where are you at? Where are you living? Where are you at?
Just outside of Detroit in Grosse Pointe Wood.
Okay.
You
I
guys
was gonna say, if you're in LA, Chad and I are dragging you to a Fish show.
Yeah, I'm in, man. Yeah, I'd love to go. I'd love to go anywhere at this point. But yeah,
no kidding.
Seeing
Yeah.
live music.
Didn't you guys just legalize mushrooms? You can go to Fish Show and Micah does legally.
Yeah, decriminalized in Ann Arbor, man. Yeah, like 40 minutes away. Yeah.
Ann Arbor's the shit.
Come on. That's not too far to travel to.
No.
Not, man. Not at all.
Just don't take them till you get back. Don't resist the temptation to when you get them and you buy them. Don't take them right then because you still have to drive home.
Right.
Just pro advice. All right.
I'm trying to remember the proper way to exit a lot hang. I think I'm gonna go get in line and get a poster. Is that the right thing to do? I gotta roll, guys. I love you. Thank you for having me. I gotta go
Mike,
get
always
a
good.
burrito.
Mike, great to see you.
Great meeting you, man.
Yeah,
Like
too,
you are a
Chuck.
lot royalty. In case I haven't told you this, you are always invited. I think this is like your third or fourth time on the lot.
Lot royalty. Thank you.
Please just show up.
I appreciate it. Can we just
We'll
can
give you
this
a
never
crown.
end?
I love hanging out with you. You're awesome.
You guys are the best, and it's a
You
pleasure
are.
to see everybody. And Scott, I love you, man. It's great to see you. Long time. Someone needs
20
to.
years.
Oteil, Scott is fish.net. It's like Scott's the one in the front row most of the time with a notepad, taking notes, writing the set list down, then going to Twitter and saying they teased this during that, and the times were this, and he gives like short but solid, like that is crisp. This was nice jam, like whatever, but he doesn't get like wordy with it and verbose. So during the show, he's letting the world know what's going on. He's involved with the Mockingbird Foundation. He's like the Oracle. He's such a great dude. And what else did you do?
The
Yeah,
grateful dean of the
Of
Fish.
fi-
Except you're doing it live.
He
Dean's
also
like,
does it for Humphreys too.
he's,
Actually,
he's lot Scott, you know? So,
nice. Humphreys.
but anyway, he's awesome. So if you have any
Thank
questions
you.
about Fish,
All you
Chuck or
guys.
Oteil.
Y'all
Good
are the
seeing
bomb.
everybody.
You,
Peace
man.
out.
I gotta
Thanks,
go
Mike.
too because I gotta help my wife put these kids to bed.
I gotta
Thank you, Oteil.
Such a pleasure to meet you, man.
You
Hey,
too.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk again next year when you get the second win it again next year.
Podcast of the year, 2 years in a row, baby.
I hope so. And it's real nice to see you again, Chuck.
It was great to meet you and talk to you a little bit, man. It was my pleasure.
And hopefully we'll
Nice
do
to
it.
meet you, Oteil.
Bless all you guys, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Oteil. See you, man.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Skoy's gonna be so pissed, by the way, when
That he missed
he
Oteil.
gets in. He's like, "Where's Mike? Where's Oteil?" And be like, "No, it's just the Wook
he's gonna-
guys."
Well, he's in the chat.
Chuck-
He's on the chat, or he was on the chat. I don't know where he
I
went.
gave him the link. I don't know why he didn't call.
He
in.
was hungover.
I don't
Come
think
on,
that
I went
Hey,
through this
there's
with him,
Kev.
with drinking the black buka and eating the runny eggs and getting over the hangover.
Kev, be honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, how mad are you at me right now?
I'm pretty mad at you, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, Chuck,
But you know what? I stayed off until I wasn't mad at you because you know how I think. Everyone's allowed to get mad, and you get the fuck over it and move on with your life.
Well, I will say publicly in front of the 20 people watching that I love you, man.
Oh,
And
I
I'm
love
sorry.
you too, brother. It's not
It
a
was
big
half
deal.
joke, half me getting carried away, but
And it was half me saying something really stupid.
it was. I'm
That's
all
right.
right. I'm glad you acknowledged that.
See, just keep your stick down, Kevin. Keep
we
your
have
stick
company.
down.
We have company. We have company.
good.
We have Chuck
Yeah,
and-
we do have
give
company.
this
People
play-
like
we
people
have
like
company.
Hey,
sincerity. Chad.
Chuck,
Oh, Scott, they're
in front of-
family. They're
Can I ask
family.
Chuck
It's
a
fine.
question? Can I ask
Yes,
Chuck a
you
question?
can ask
Yes.
Chuck. Well,
Chuck,
wait. Chuck, can Kevin ask you a question?
Absolutely.
All right.
Tony-
I want to
all right.
ask him first. So, okay.
All right, Tony Levin versus Jaco Pastore.
Ooh. Are we talking virtuosity or a guy in a band that makes it amazing?
I'm talking about who made King Crimson better. No, I'm joking. Virtuosity.
I'd say Jocko, but I think if you put Jocko in one trick pony or something, it would be a little different situation. Tony Levin can blend a little more.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know what? King Crimson is my probably total world with him, but what he does in the context of the two other guitars and the drums in that 81 to 84 is just Jaco. I get lost on. I could nod out listening to him.
I'm a big fan of Jocko's first record. I mean, his playing is obviously amazing, but it was his writing that always blew me away. His writing and arranging, but yeah, it's two different things because it's kind of more of a lead-based thing versus a guy that you can put into a group and just bring the whole thing up. I'm not saying Jocko can't do that. You know, he did that in Weather Report and stuff, but
can you play slap? Have you ever played slap bass before?
I'm not very good at it. Yeah.
Chuck, I got a question about Sturgill for you real quick.
Yeah.
I'm playing with him.
Oh, yeah. By the way, you're going to get the Oteil treatment now, Chuck. Oteil left, so we're just going to hit you with all these questions.
Guys, I got to take off. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Chuck, great to meet you.
Great meeting
Scott,
you.
it's always a pleasure.
So good tonight.
Scott,
Right
think
on,
about
Scott.
your
Hey.
nominations for Lifetime Achievement. We got to get this ready for next year.
And
All right, I'll think about
Scott, please remember I got it right this time.
I have no
Well
idea what we're
done.
talking about.
All right, have a great night,
thanks,
guys.
Scott.
Enjoy the show.
See you, man. Thanks.
Yeah, have a good show.
All right, so let's get back on Chuck. Pile on, everybody.
No, Llama, you had it. What was it?
All right. What albums have you recorded with Sturgill? Just the last two, right?
Actually, just the last one, man.
Just the last one.
I joined his band right as the Sailor's Guide was being finished.
Okay.
Very
So
nice.
I'm on the one where he completely changed his sound. It's my
Right.
fault.
So that's a good change. I like it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I stand behind it, but it is, it's different.
You feel like you're part of the creative process?
Yeah. I mean, he believes in letting you do your thing. I mean, he's never really told me to not do something. Yeah, he just kind of just go for it. If there's a fuck up on the recording or something, we'll redo it. But yeah, those are my baselines. Yeah.
Who's easier to work with in the studio, him or me?
You're both wonderful.
I was gonna ask Chuck, who's the best keyboardist you've ever
Oh, he'll say Bobby. It's okay.
The guy from the Radiators?
There's so many.
I'm out of drink, Kev.
Whoa. Who's that coming in the distance?
Oh no, it's the fucking Wook of the year.
Okay, hold on a second.
Let's get some music. Come on, Chad. Let's get some music. Wookie of the year. Nothing. We got
The last
fucking-
half hour
There he
that
is.
was gonna
All
be a
right.
complete mess.
There we go.
The man with the fucking tabs on his records.
And I'm so glad we did not get an answer to Chuck's question. That would have been embarrassing for me.
No, I want to hear the answer to Chuck's question. I called in right as that was happening.
It depends on whether Chad is playing in Chicago or LA.
And Chad and Josh, our singer guitar player, used to take me to school all the time. Like I thought I knew how to improvise until I got with those guys. It's just the truth,
We did teach you how to improvise, but you taught us the math of music. I remember. Okay, I'm going to tell a quick story. One time,
Can I ask a question?
Kevin,
first? Let me ask you a question first.
I put him in the penalty box, Chad.
thank you. When we were on tour, you interrupted. When we were on tour,
Kevin, you interrupted Chad. You got to give him a minute. He hates me. He's gonna quit Wook Plus tonight.
Oh, he's
All right, go ahead. I'm
when
gonna let you talk.
When Chuck and I were touring together with the band, we had a van with a trailer with the fucking all our equipment in it, and then Chuck brought his own vehicle. So every once in a while on tour, one of us would ride with Chuck. So when you ride with Chuck, here's the deal: he's gonna give you a jazz lesson. So he puts in some tape of like I don't even know who it was, and they're playing in like 15/4 time at like 180 beats per minute, and he's telling me bang on the dashboard every time you find the one, and I'm like going, and I'm like, and he's like, no, it's like this, and he nails it every fucking time. It was a harsh lesson.
Music school, man, it messes with your head. It took me years to recover.
Wait, you guys played in a band together?
Yeah, for like a couple of 3 years about.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah,
4 years about. Yeah, I can do triplets over twos. Hold on a second.
What's?
I can do 4 over 5 or 3 over 4.
See it.
That's 3 over 4, but I used to know them all. You couldn't hear that, I don't think. I was doing it on my desk, but
What was the name of the band?
Park a Rock Band.
What? Sorry, say it again.
Park, a rock band.
Park, a rock band. All
it's
right.
one of those names
I gotta
that
check
you
that
think
out.
like when you're hanging out high, like that's a great name. And then like the digital age comes and you're like, this is confusing.
Yeah, one of the
Like
happiest
the
moments.
strawberry alarm clock.
Kev's not gonna show his face for the rest of the night because he's mad at me.
That's all right. One of the happiest days of my life is when Chuck agreed to join the band because we had gone through. So our first bass player we had to get rid of for circumstances, and we had auditioned a whole bunch of bass players, and Chuck was one of them. We had seen Chuck play with what was the who was the blues lady?
Howard. Oh, Laura Rain.
No, the big one.
Thornetta.
Yeah, I think we had seen you play with Thornetta.
How can you forget her name?
Which Thornetta?
Thornetta Davis. Anyway, we had seen Chuck play and asked him to come play with us. He played with us one night, and we were like, "Hey, we want you to be our new bass player." And we got the phone call, me and Josh, and Chuck was like, "Yeah, I think I'll do it." And we were like, "He danced like we were like, we just got the best bass player in literally probably a 5-state area."
Oh.
And what year was this?
Yeah, what year was
time
this?
frame?
96, 97.
So after you saw Fish, you had already been influenced by Fish when you brought him into your world.
Yeah, these guys were equal. They were a lot of the Fish vibe, but also Second City Improv too, because they were both working for Second City.
Worst
so they had that
harpoo ever.
What's that?
Worst harpoo ever.
Hold on.
Wait,
I have a
let
question.
Llama chew. Let Llama chew first. Chew.
Hold on. I have a question though. When you said in '96 is when Chuck
This
joined.
pace is awesome, by the way, Llama.
I try.
It's okay.
Let him chew.
Sorry, no, go.
I'm
It's
not-
good. It's good.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
'96, you
I
joined
love
the
it.
band. Is that why the White Stripes don't have a bassist? Because Park had the best bassist.
Oh,
Good
that is a
question. Good
great
question.
question. That is a great question.
Thank you.
Chuck,
Man, I don't know about that. Yeah, I think that was by design, if I remember correctly. Plus, I didn't have any red and white clothing.
Do you think Chuck's like, Oteil left? How long do you think I have to stay here before I can like dip?
Oh no, this is great, man. This is like I got an 8-year-old, and this virtual school is killing me. So this is a very nice break.
I got two
I'm hearing that a
I
lot
got
these
two
days.
teenagers, and one of them can't fucking log in every day on time. Every day I get an email, your student was absent. She was fucking there. She was making avocado toast.
Yeah,
The fucking time.
yeah. I'm with him from the time he starts at 8:30 until like my day ends at about 8 at night with homework and all the other stuff he has to do. So I'm like, I get the joke now.
So basically, Chuck wants to come on the lot whenever he can.
Yeah.
So it's,
Like, give me something.
Welcome
Give me
back
something.
every week, baby.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
hey, Skoy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up, Don?
Hey,
Did
what's
you
up,
go
Scoy?
to Disney
What's up, guys?
World after winning Wook of the Year?
Did I?
You know, I was actually hesitant on letting Kev ask another question. I was about to cut him off, but that is a great question, Kev.
I'm actually more surprised, Kev, that nobody said that at the end of their speech, like as a kicker. Like, no, I'm going to Disney World.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
I'm going to Northern California for October.
I am going to Northern California. I'm leaving on Friday.
And you're leaving the records? You're leaving the records?
The records stay. If the records unfortunately
Oh my
stay
God,
here.
that's fucking a big leap of faith.
I know, right? Yeah, my roommate kind of plays around with them sometimes when I'm gone, but I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, you're
He knows
going to
what
be
he's doing.
missing 6 or 7 that you won't find for like 10 years.
He'll never know. He'll never know.
Oh no, it's all logged in here. Maybe not today. I'm definitely a little hungover today. We had a fresh
Did you
hop
get that
tasting
black
last night.
sambuca?
No,
The runny eggs, nothing I
No.
suggested.
No, no.
Not even burn a fatty.
I went out and got some beer, and that was it.
So, Skoy, how has your life changed for the better since receiving Book of the Year award?
All the press he's gotten.
I think I gained like 35 or 40 followers that day.
You've been all over Twitter. All over Twitter.
I thought you were going to say pounds.
No, that's just the last like 6 months.
You know, people are writing the songs about the legend of Skoy getting banned for a week.
Oh,
I'm
shit,
surprised you got
That was
followers though,
insane.
because everybody loves you. Like, when we announced it, the feedback I got, I mean, I didn't get a ton of feedback, but the feedback was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, I don't know. You interact with everybody online and you have like
you're a very
friendly
good friend.
personality. People are just like, yeah, okay, cool.
You're a very good friend, Skoy.
Man, I love you guys. I am no longer interacting with Trump, however. I'm leaving that to Forense Mike.
Did you hear Justin? might
Justin's
not
gone
come back at all.
No, I was just talking to him. They're not looking
Yeah,
at
I
his
know you were
appeal
talking to him
whatsoever.
because he messaged me and he's like, "Hey, you want me to come on as a guest?" Skoy told me, and I was like, we have fucking 15 guests
Stacked
tonight.
lineup. Yeah, no shit. And I missed everybody.
Do you start a new account if you totally get blocked out?
I mean, I know Fluff's Ghost, he has now had to create 2 new accounts after getting banned from, fucking around with Trump also. So I think people do that. I'm not sure what Justin's going to do. He said I think he's coming back at some
I'll
point.
tell you the secret. He hates his first name. So whenever
Sorry, the Rev.
Well, no. I'm talking about
That's
Donnie.
his name is the Rev. That is.
No, but no, Donald. Every time I talk about him, I don't use the T word. I hate that fucking word. It's like the bad guy from Harry Potter.
Right.
Like, I don't use that word. I'll just call him Donnie or Donald because I hate to call him by this fucking.
I like Diaper Don.
I can't. I do not want to lose the account. I
Voldemort,
can't even
that's it.
believe I got banned or blocked or whatever.
Hey, didn't you call
locked
somebody
down for
wench or
7
something?
days? Yeah, I called the press secretary a wench. That
I
was it.
love a good wench. I love a good wench. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
I just think some MAGA person must have reported it like sexually abusive or something. Because what's wrong with wench? Wench is fine.
Whatever you need, my sir. Whatever you need.
Lusty bar wench.
Well, I got no. Looks like Blackbeard though. Like he would have like he'd be on a pirate ship and be like, "Listen here, wench."
I got another question about this band. Is there recordings of this band online somewhere we can check out?
I've listened. Oh yeah, all the Wook Plus guys have listened to Park. It's pretty good.
Oh, our band?
Most of the Plus guys have listened to Park.
I think thank you, Kevin. I think I've given you the link like 3 times, Skoy.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's
The bass player's badass. Keyboards are okay.
You said Skoy an email like 10 days later. He's like, "Oh, I just saw this." So that's how
He's
that
actually
works.
played it on the Skoy cast, and you didn't even know it.
I'll play us out.
Now I'm actually
It's
gonna
in
have to go
heavy
back and look.
rotation.
Wait. Before we lose all of our viewers, I
We
want to
have 30
remind people
We have
that
the best
Missy and
numbers
Baker.
tonight ever.
Kev,
well, hey,
don't pull a Trump. Don't talk over people.
Oh my God.
I want to remind everybody that Missy and Baker are returning tonight with a brand new episode of the After Show, the Damn After Show. So I'm really excited about that. That'll be right here on this channel. I'll tweet out some links, but
So
I
everybody
figured
take
I
your
could
speed.
feel the people leaving and Xing out of the YouTube window. So I just wanted to get that in there real quick before everybody disappeared.
We only lost one person since you started talking.
I am kind of bummed I missed Scott though, because
Scott, that's the one you're bummed about. We had Mike Fenoy.
Thank you,
No,
Stuart.
I know,
Thank you.
but I gotta say that's how I found Fish Twitter. Like I went to a show by myself, BGCA 2013. I can't remember what show it was, and I saw this guy, sitting next to me or like standing next to me, writing all this stuff down. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, taking set list and tweeting the show." And I was like, "Oh shit." I had no idea like people did that because I just started seeing Fish officially at that point, I'd been listening to him forever. And it turns out it was Scott Marks. So that was like my third show. And he's who turned me on to Fish Twitter.
What year was that?
2013.
What was your first Fish record that you bought?
Funny enough, that just happened this year.
Thank you.
And it was Billy Breeze. I've had a long term.
The number one song in the 75 studio performances, Billy Breeze.
Actually, a show I just listened to the other day had a really good rendition of that. What was that? 11/25/95, I think. I really like the intro they play.
Merriweather last summer.
Hey,
I was floored when they did it. Of course you can.
I don't want to be rude anymore, but I feel like with all the Fish talk, we're gonna lose Chuck. And there was one question I actually had to ask, or I wanted to ask Chuck before we left them. Out of everything, like I mentioned before, I've been diving into your catalog and different jams and people you've played with, and you playing with Humphreys stuck out to me personally. Is there only that one song, or did you do like a full show? Because I only found one recording I could find with you with Humphreys, but it seemed like a perfect marriage. Did you play more with them?
No, that was the one. I met Ryan, the bass player, at we did the Trondosa Festival, Sturgill, and I did, and so he was there for that, and he was backstage wearing a "Who the fuck is Sturgill Simpson" shirt, so he was a fan of Sturgill. So we hit it off, and then the guy that kind of their assistant, the band's assistant, Steve Bridges, is from Flint, so we had the Michigan connection. So I was rehearsing in my basement one night, and he texted me and said, "Hey, we're coming to town. You want to sit in?" That kind of thing. And so I went down and said, they gave me like 500 tunes to choose from, and I narrowed it down to the Immigrant Song, right? Tom Sawyer. So, what's that?
You chose Zeppelin, right?
Yeah, I chose the Immigrant Song. They told me to choose, and I sent them back like 3 or 4, and one of them was that, and then one of them was Tom Sawyer. And one of them was something else too, I forget. And then that was what they decided on.
I hope that happens again, because when I heard that, like at the end of it, I was like, man, I want more of this.
What song was it?
No. What show was that?
At the Fillmore, not last February.
February 19.
Yeah.
February 19, 2019.
And what song was it?
The Immigrant Song.
Oh, very nice. Did they actually screech? They do a Robert Plant thing?
Yeah, Brendan kind of did. He did it within his range. Yeah.
Hey, Chuck. Actually, these guys don't know this, so I want to entertain them with an interesting story.
Ooh, factoid.
Trey actually recruited you.
Ooh.
Sorta. Yeah. I mean,
auditioned.
You auditioned for Trey, right?
It was weird. He came and sat in with us at a local gig. It was when Skeeto Valdez was playing drums with him.
What song?
And that's another. No, hold on. That's another story.
We need to know the song.
Skeeto's another story.
Yeah, Skeeto's a whole other. Yeah, but Skeeto brought him to Detroit, and we were playing with. I was playing with Thornetta at this casino, and he brought Trey up, and Trey sat in with us for a few songs. And I don't know if it was an audition, but he told me that he should have hired me for the tour, and then he kind of walked away.
And Russ is still there.
Yeah, I was so.
What songs? Come on.
What are you asking, Kevin? You've been saying the same question.
I know. You can
what songs did he come up and play for?
We did Shaka Khan, Tell Me Something Good, and I think we just did a straight up blues. Besides that,
very nice. All right, Tell Me Something Good is something I've never heard Trey playing before, so I have a little nugget I can put away and comb into someone's hair later.
Yeah, he killed it, man. Yeah, he sounded great. It was a lot of fun. So I don't know if it was an audition necessarily, but yeah.
Very nice. So can I say a scoy, nice foodie kits there?
Thank you. Thank you. You guys are cracking me up today.
Kevin, what have you been drinking today? Honestly, is what I want to know.
Whiskey.
What are you on?
Whiskey.
You're hosting the show, like.
Because you're cut off from the bar, man.
I mean, seriously, like,
dude, my wife's in the background. Every time Kevin talks, she just starts cracking up, and I can't hold it together. Holy shit.
This is worse than the Dicks weekend. I don't know what you're on tonight, bro.
Oh my god, it's funny as shit.
All right, I'm not going to say anything else.
No, keep going. Keep going. Don't end now.
Oh no! You just left. Oh man. Oh no.
Oh,
You guys actually tossed him in the slammer too many times. Has anyone even been on the lot slammer before? Was that a first thing today?
Oh, the penalty box?
Yeah.
Kevin has. It's
No,
not
I
his
think
first time in there.
In the mood of the Wookiees, I think we're gonna name it the Great Wen Penalty Box from now on. Can we pull that out for big
after
guests,
Went today?
Chuck, Tom Marshall and Chuck is when we pull that out.
Hold on. I want you to let Went out of the penalty box and for him to tell us the story that he was telling us before we went on the air about his first Triple X movie.
Oh no, let's not go there.
I want to before he does that. I just want to tell Chuck also, Sound and Fury was awesome. Both the album and the anime was dope as shit.
Thank you. I like where Travis's head is that better.
That was awesome. Like that was a real fucking cool thing to watch. I've watched it probably 5 times already. Like it's so like every time I'm just like, what do I need to watch? I just throw it on, or if I'm like really fucked up, just throw it. It's the visuals and the music with it are phenomenal.
Yeah, there was a lot of drugs involved with making that. So
fuck yeah, I hope so because that's awesome.
Favorite track to play on?
On that, probably A Good Look. It's pretty bouncy. Really? Yeah, it's pretty bouncy and fun.
Nice.
Beat the shit
This
out
is
of
a soundtrack to an anime?
Yeah, dude, it's on Netflix. Check it out. It's called Sound and Fury. It's incredible.
You guys are making me write a bunch down today. Okay.
The best way I read it described was, this is the album the Black Keys have been trying to make for 10 years.
Kind of true.
I mean, the album is phenomenal, and then you watch that with it, and you're just like, this is exactly what everybody needs to do. Like, this is so awesome. Like, where did that idea come from, or how did you guys do it? What was the concept for that?
Just Sturgill is really into the old samurai movies. Like when we recorded it, he's got some videos on Instagram too, but when we had old 50s samurai movies on the walls when we were in the studio.
Nice.
We were in this really tiny studio in Pontiac, Michigan, believe it or not. Chad knows Pontiac. It's a kind of a Flintish type, it's a kind of a rough area, I guess. And we were in a motel that you would never guess had a multi-million-dollar studio in it. And we did all this stuff basically there, and he cut and pasted a lot of it. But yeah, he had the samurai films on the wall while we were doing it.
Nice.
And all the old keyboards, everything was like, all the 70s gear that you could think of, all the analog stuff. And yeah, he just, I didn't know what his concept was. He just kind of, he would play me a track and say, Wu-Tang, and I'd play what I thought that meant. And, every track was kind of like that. And then he'd layer stuff on top of stuff, and then we started to kind of figure out what was going on with it. But he had been talking about wanting to do an anime thing with it too. So he was going back and forth to Japan like a ton. The dude had to be, he was busting his ass. I just can't believe how much he was flying to Japan, let alone just doing 18-hour days on this. And it was insane. But it all came together, nicely.
It came together incredibly. I can't even imagine like putting that whole thing together, and even the animation, like how you go and make sure they're cutting it right to your music, because it's your music that they're putting a vision into. So you want that done right, like you want it to look like what. So the whole thing just blew me away. Like it was really, really well done, really beautiful. Good job, all you guys.
Is that the only time you soundtrack, Chuck?
That I played on a soundtrack?
Yeah.
I played on Hit and Run, if you want to look that one up.
Hit and Run.
That's Kristen Bell and what's the dude's name? Dax Shepard and Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper's a huge name.
Rom-com or something?
What is it?
A rom-com or something?
It's like
Romantic-
I mean, it was their pet project, but
Did you do the nude scene?
no, I didn't. No, it was a little heavier then.
That's a shame.
A little heavier than the nude scene. There you go.
I've seen Chuck naked. It's a shame that the world got denied.
Would you say that it was a better locker room than the Bears or a worse locker room than the Bears?
What kind of bear?
The Nick Foles today said, "I've never seen a locker room like the Bears."
You see what happens when I step out and don't put Kev in the penalty box?
What is that?
You,
What is
you
that?
let Kev
We're-
come back without you is the problem.
we're on the lot and we're having a conversation and it diverges.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and then our guests are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And
No.
you're like, "I saw something."
I think Chuck appreciates where I'm coming from.
He's not a Bears fan.
Well, neither am I. I'm a Ravens fan, and Lamar fucking embarrassed me. All over the internet.
I don't even think there was a switch to flip tonight, to be honest with you.
You know that spot in Best Clockmaker on Mars right before the keyboard kicks in?
Mm-hmm.
That opens up a path to another like dimension. Like that's amazing. Like just that segue of music, you know. And
thanks.
that was like the whole band.
What's that now?
Was that the whole band?
Yeah, I mean that was Sturgill wanted something there, and yeah, I mean it was equal parts. He definitely wanted that sort of segue and that sort of section to happen, and I think he sang some of that melodically, but that a lot of that was Bobby on keys, just coming up with stuff. Bobby's brilliant at that stuff, just coming up with sections and pieces and little hooks here and there. And
yeah, he's good.
Yeah, that's a fun one to play.
What's his
live.
last name? What's his full name? Because I don't know this. I'm
Emmett,
gonna look
Bobby
back.
Emmett.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bobby Emmett.
I that's why I ask years and names, because I want to look back 6 months from now and be able to build the history from listening to this.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway,
Good
so
job.
they're killing the conversation again.
No, I'll give it up for Bobby Emmett though. While we're here, though, Bobby Emmett is another Detroit keyboard player that I happened to have the pleasure of knowing and kind of grew up in the same circles as him. And that motherfucker he's got rock in his soul. Like Chuck. Yeah, I mean, like, it's like deep. Like, he feels rock and roll and blues and all that to his soul. He's a great he bleeds on his organ.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally bleeds on his organ.
Yeah.
And you played with this guy?
No, Chuck plays with him. He's a keyboard player for Sturgill.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you played with him too back in
No, we know each
Detroit
other.
or
'Cause we
Chicago
were
days.
both keyboard players in Detroit. We ran in the same circles. So
Hey, I have an idea.
yeah.
I don't know if Chuck would be interested, and if not, then I'm just gonna pitch this and we can use somebody else. But when Chuck and Oteil were talking about all these musicians that they appreciate and are inspired by, I know this isn't an entirely original idea, but we're starting to get access to some great musicians. I was thinking how cool it'd be to have like curated playlists or like a top 5 or top 10 of like either LPs or singles from musicians that the Wook Plus guys respect. So maybe with Chuck to do the inaugural, I feel like this may be a blog thing or on a show is like, Chuck, give us like, not right now. I mean, you can think about it, but if you give us like, 9 artists or 9 albums or 9 songs to check out that maybe are off the beaten path.
And you're not getting paid for any of this. It's all for free.
Well, we can ask somebody else, but I was just thinking, I respect from this conversation and from what I've listened to and everything, I obviously respect Chuck's ear. So I think it would be cool. I mean, we should.
I'd be happy to do it. Yeah, especially if you give me a little time, because putting me on the spot, I'm terrible.
No. I don't want you to do it tonight, but I think over the next month, think about it, shoot us a message, and I mean, obviously we'll give you the credit for it, but I think it's a cool segment.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll send it to you in the next couple days.
Hey, Chad, why you make me sound like an asshole?
That'd be awesome.
Because I'm making you sound like an asshole because I had a better question. What's up with the
It wasn't
chairs?
a question, it was an idea.
What's up with the chairs, Chuck?
You do have a lot of chairs.
Me?
Yeah, there's a lot of like wooden, like that's like
Yeah, if you could see the basement, it's pretty insane. My son is like a feng shui master, so he like does stuff down here. This is his school area too. This is our one Mac. So yeah,
And he's 8. You said
yeah,
he was 8.
he'll be 9 December 1st. So he's
That's a great age.
Yeah.
In hindsight, with quarantine, it's like I don't even question people's decor anymore. Like if it was a year ago, I'd be like, "What's going on with your basement?" But now I'm like, I get it, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I
living.
don't know if there was a story there or like.
Yeah, it's just
why
a
you
lot.
had like
These are
5
very
matching.
Yeah, I mean, if I could show you, like I got my gear and stuff over there, drums and all that.
Hell yeah.
Then I got the
I want to play
couch,
so bad.
the hang center over there, and then Jeffrey does his work here.
This is where you hold Zoom meetings.
Does your kid do music yet?
No, he doesn't have any interest at all whatsoever. So
Really?
When I was his age, I was given like 145s, and there was one from Sam Sham and the Pharaohs that had Little Red Riding Hood, and on the B side was a song called "Love Me Like Before," and I could trace being right here today to listening to that song at 9 years old on the.
This was in
45.
1858, by the way.
It was in 1980, probably 1980 or something like that.
Yep.
Sure. Back when Reagan was still a Reagan.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, those are pivotal moments, and I'm waiting for his. I try to gently insert music in his area, but I don't ever tell him to listen to it. You know.
I found it through the Monkees. They played them on Channel 45 after school.
Far out.
And we watched the Monkey shows, and I was like, "Oh, these guys are cool. They're idiots, but they're cool."
Yeah, that's all it
How
takes.
you doing? Toy, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm just sitting back, kicked back, chilling.
What
I had,
could
a
be
good, I had an
Llama?
epic night last night.
Epic Llama? Oh yeah, we heard. Yeah, Llama, how you doing? Just checking in. Can't hear you.
Is Llama
You're
here?
muted.
It's
I'm
quiet.
here. I just forgot to take it off mute. My bad.
Okay, so good. All right, T.
Liz, so
5
All right,
by
we can do
5,
this.
baby.
All right,
all good.
cool. All right, what's up, Wook?
no, I was going to pull the ripcord respectfully and peacefully. We're 15 minutes out. It's a long hike to the venue. I want to have the time, the ability, and I'll give you a minute, Chad. You can have the last word. I just personally want to thank you, Chuck, for stopping in and hanging out. Really appreciate it. I want to congratulate you, Skoy, for winning Wook of the Year.
Thanks.
I hope.